What the fuck? Welcome to Cognitive Vigilance Podcast. I am here with Kyle, Rin, and Ryan Stone, this is his second time being on. We had a great conversation the first time, which was I think around October. And guess what? I was reading your book Dread yesterday. I couldn't fucking get through it. I was trying, but I liked some of it. I really liked there was like this part where you were talking about there's definitely parts that I like. And I think that I'm starting to like understand Dread a little bit more.
Yeah, you don't have to like it, but I'd like at least understand it.
I think I understand it, but I could definitely see how people would abuse the concept, like how people would misunderstand it and then abuse it. Do you know what I'm saying?
The abusing thing, I find that's never very sustainable. I really love to game this system, but there's a reason why half the examples in there are guys screwing up their lives because. Yeah, the abuse doesn't last forever. Women aren't stupid as much as we like to say otherwise online.
I think you're wrong.
Can you give your example of what you understand like more about Dread? Because I'm still like lagging behind on that, but I would love to hear what your deeper insight into Dread is, Brandy.
So from what I gathered, it's like it's not about changing your wife. It's about changing yourself so that she reacts better to you. You can't really make right. Am I in the ballpark?
It's about not being taken advantage of.
Yeah, a good way to think about it is you're not trying to fuck your wife. You're trying to be more fuckable. You don't mind if I swear?
No,
you're good.
Well, I mean, it's already.
But do you understand that? Like you see the difference there, right?
Yeah.
And so just take that and apply it to everything within a relationship. You can't expect the wife to want to turn around. Maybe she is a dud. Maybe she's seen your BS for too long to change, but all you can do is fix yourself. And there's very structured things that you need to fix or that you should fix, depending on where you're at. And then once you get there, you're able to make better choices on who stays in your life and who goes.
Is that...
And I think that's the part that people don't like, the part where it's like, at the end of it, you might find out your wife's just lazy and a waste of time and it's worth getting rid of her. And sometimes she might decide that it's too far gone and she's going to go. And so what do you do then? So yeah, there's no guarantees. I think that's what makes it different than what like guys like Fresh and Fit and Pearl and all them talk about. They always love to guarantee those the hot 10 out of 10, 18-year-old wife and shit. It's like, life doesn't come with guarantees.
Yeah,
so it's basically improving yourself so that and then
I don't even like saying improve though. That's the other thing.
Okay, so it's not
when you say improve, you think like there's this linear 0% man to 100% man.
Yeah,
it's really more about like what metrics do you want to succeed in. Like we were talking last time, Rin and that, about you doing the poly thing and me being monogamous. And like those are different choices. And each one of them comes with different responsibilities or skill sets and outcomes and different trade-offs. So a big part of it is understanding which choices you want to make, what lifestyle you want to live, what trade-offs that's going to involve, and then how do you deal with them. And then if you can't deal with them, then clearly you don't want that. You want something else. A lot of that's just coming to terms with this stuff. And the sex stuff is usually just the catalyst more so than... Like, I know you hate to hear this, but yeah, the woman is, like, not the center of attention in this one. And that was why we had all the time last time, because you kept focusing on her. And I'm like, she's really not a factor.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand that. And, like, that when I give advice to people in, like, those sort of things, it's like, to me, the only power you ever have in a relationship is to end it. It's the only actual power you have. Everything else is an ask. Everything else is a compromise, negotiation, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And so, it's like that all just resonates with me. But would that... As you described it, would that be, I might be getting this wrong, active or passive dread?
Depends. Passive dread is stuff that, like, your wife could be dead tomorrow and you could still do it. Active dread is more, it requires a second party, whether it be catch and release, like learning to see, is the problem that she won't sleep with me or that no one would sleep with me? Like that kind of stuff requires more active. And then ideally, you kind of want to start with passive, because if the problem is just you, then fix you, and then the problem goes away. If the problem's not you, fix you first to make sure that you're not, adding to the problem. Fix what you can, and then you make decisions with what's left. And a lot of it, like, the one thing I love is the catch and release one. For a lot of guys, just, like, the suggestion there and what most guys have done is just pick a line in the sand. What do you consider cheating? Do everything up to that. And then you'll find, like, one or two scenarios. One, okay, I'm really not attractive because no girl wants to deal with me, or more often than not. Two, this is really easy and I could probably have my wife replaced in a weekend. and then it changes the way you deal with your dynamic, as opposed to like, I need to make my wife happy so she loves me. It's like, I don't think you understand like how much of a prize you got here. And sometimes it is a case the wife just takes her man for granted, and he has to learn to not be.
Well, okay,
and that's
so
the stuff that tends to get kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial, because women don't like the idea of hearing that like mid.
Well, Ryan, what I like that you highlight in your books quite a bit was the concept of like, hey, you're the only dude that's gonna wipe your own ass, so you should treat that dude with respect. But like,
I
you
love
laugh
putting
about
that
it.
shitty
Yeah,
like blue
but
collar shit in there. I love it.
But yeah, so do I, because that, you know, that resonates, because like in that concept, specifically when it comes to like dread, you're knowing that like, hey, what is my own value, and I'm going to respect that value actively, because I'm not going to play a passive role in my life and, you know, make my wife the entire focus, and, you know, all interactions between my wife and I are focused on what she'll do for me. It's more about like, okay, what do I want out of life?
Yeah.
And I'm going to treat myself with enough respect to actually set my, you know, expectations for me, not for anybody else.
And if you can live up to them, then you can expect other people to live up to them. And if they can't live up to them, then you got to make a choice. Do you change your expectations, or do you change your company?
So wouldn't this be good for everyone, not just men?
Do I know? I don't talk to girls.
Okay.
Why would I try and help
Like,
girls?
okay,
Look what
I'm
happened
sorry.
to who's the guy who just got roasted on Twitter for having 6 girlfriends now? The
Oh,
Andrew
Master guy?
Huberman.
Yeah.
Wait. Why was he roasted?
because
It's
he
lucrative,
wasn't
but
being
I ain't going down
honest
that
about
road.
it, Rin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Very-
Andrew Huberman, I Rollo put it right. It's too much, too young, too fast. Where the dude was probably just your typical Stanford professor, and then as soon as he went on Joe Rogan, he probably got all, you know, the pussy in the world, and then he couldn't handle it. He couldn't just be straight up honest with it and say, "Hey, I'm fucking Andrew Huberman, and like, if you want to hang out, you can hang out, but this probably is just gonna be a fling." He couldn't do that, so he ended up, you
Give
know,
him my
becoming
email.
front page of the New
I'll
York Times.
give him my email. I can coach him.
Dude, give him Pro Jared's email. He can coach him.
I didn't look at the details with that. Did he have like, was it like serious relationships, like multiple, like where these girls?
So
So
I
convinced
don't
that they
I know
were-
the one he allegedly said that like he wanted to have kids with, and she had kids with like 3 kids before, and he was fucking other girls on the side. But like, I don't know how serious. I didn't even read the article. I just listened to some other people talk about it. I really didn't care that much. I saw it blowing up. I'm like, oh well, that's interesting. Okay. on
Yeah,
to
you
the
kind of
next
get the
thing.
broad strokes already, right?
Yeah. Right.
Ryan, there's one thing that I need to. I have a bone to pick with you. You had a
You ever-
tweet, and it made me really mad. I have a
All
feeling
the
it's
better.
gonna
Goatsy?
make it's gonna make Rin really
Don't
mad
put a
too.
goatsy up.
It says, "Stop saying nuance. You just don't understand." Which, if you know, that's literally my favorite fucking word. What's your problem with nuance? Can
I
we?
know people use it, man.
What's your
Look.
fucking problem with nuance?
Look, here's what happens. Somebody will say something, have an opinion on anything, baking cheesecake, and then somebody will disagree with it, but they can't just come out and say, I don't agree with you for this reason, or you're being overly simplistic. They have to say, well, there's nuance. It's like this passive, wishy-washy way of saying, hey, let's all get along, but you're an effing idiot.
Well,
And I'm
I'm
just like,
saying
no,
that you're
that's pretty
overly
funny.
simplistic is kind of the
Okay,
same
by
thing
saying
as
it's nuance, just say the nuance. What nuance?
Yeah. No, I
Don't
agree
be
with that.
Sometimes
specific.
there's lots of nuance.
Pick one. Pick one
oh,
nuance.
Well, yeah.
What's
This
the
is true.
singular for nuance? A nuwa? Pick a new.
This is true. This
It
is
It might be
Singular
singular.
new.
And
Well, okay. Well, I think maybe
And that's
another
what I
point that
find.
you
Most people, they don't say nuance because they want to discuss the intricacies of any topic. They want to shut down the conversation because it makes them
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
think
a good-
maybe the one other thing that might be kind of important to your point there is that like if you don't understand it if you don't understand it well enough to explain it simply, then you probably don't understand it well enough at all.
Oh yeah, what's that counter meme? The read this big goddamn book because I can't articulate anything I've learned.
Yeah, I know you went after who was it, Eric July for fuck them hoe ass roads. You know what I'm
It's a libertarian thing. Jeez, I don't know. I don't even know him very well. It's just like I follow Dick Masterson, so I'm like I think I have to be on team hate Eric July, and I don't even know why. I don't even read the comic.
Yeah.
But either way, he takes it so bad, just as like a media example of being a lol cow and not taking the internet seriously. I think he's a master class in what not to do. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you saw this from the redheaded libertarian. Why aren't women in their 30s getting married? I have a theory, and it's gonna piss everyone off. So let's
Hi,
fucking go.
Skeletor.
She made it up. This is all. I just want you to know this is her theory that she made up.
So she just put her photo up there. It looks
OG
pretty, and she's
original.
running her mouth. I cannot believe this.
Oh,
Audio.
Now, I have a theory on this, and I don't think it's age why women aren't getting married in their 30s. And none of you are going to like it. So let's buckle up. Before we jump into this, what are my credentials? Well, I got married at 22 and was a homemaker for a long time. Now I am in my 30s, I'm a mid, and I'm a girl boss. All right, moving on. Let's start with women who are 9s and 10s. All right, women who are objectively beautiful by every measure. These women, though, may be lonely. They don't use dating apps because they don't have to. Let's talk about women who are 8s, women who are definitely beautiful, but not quite the 9 or the 10 level. You might see them on a dating app occasionally. This makes 6s and 7s kind of the queens of the dating app. Now let's look at men. When it comes to dating apps, you don't have the 9s and the 10s of men on the dating apps either, unless they are the man whores. The man whores go to the dating app and they see the 6s and 7s as the low-hanging fruit. Oh God, I'm going to lose so many followers.
I love
So
how she
these
acts
sixes
like
and
this is
sevens
groundbreaking.
Do I sound this autistic when I'm talking about this stuff?
No.
No.
Because they're hooking up with guys who are
But
9s
you're
and
actually
10s,
5'8".
the man whore. So in the time that they're dating these 9 and 10 guys, they're able to grow their job and feel good about themselves and not have children and just focus on other priorities in their lives, which is fine, ladies. It's fine. However, they get into their 30s and the time's coming to get married and they're like, not really finding any 9s and 10s anymore who want to get married. So they end up marrying a 6 or a 7. Mids marry mids, guys. Sorry. And these women who end up getting married feel like they settled. They spent all this time on a dating app, just given the illusion that they were a 9 or a 10. So women in their 30s aren't getting married because they have these high expectations for a man, which is fine, but it was all built on a lie that they were a 9 and a 10 and they were going to marry a 9 or a 10.
Isn't this literally what the whatever podcast is like based off of? So I'm like, wait, this is your theory? You made this up? What? Isn't this like a red pill thing?
I threw
Right?
2 links in the chat.
Yeah,
She's
I'm checking
basically
this out.
2010 Chateau Artiste. Is dating women, difficulty of dating women by age bracket, and then the wall conversation. It's, you know what I hate about this stuff? It's that, like, there was red pill, and there's a reason that it describes things the way it does, and then women have all made it about them. Not you, like, you're a good one, but the other ones, you know, like
Aw,
the
thank
redhead.
you.
I'm sure she's nice too, but in this case,
No,
and
she's
it's
a
just
retard,
annoying
I
because
promise.
No, she's
I
is a
understand now. You know how woke people were like, how did white women become the biggest victims? What was people of color? Like, I get that thing now. Like the Bill Burr sketch about women just like skipping the line.
Yeah,
That's
Rolo
the other
commented
thing.
on it too because he was like, "I've something
Well, yeah,
about
yeah.
how he's been saying this, like that. This is not like original
No.
stuff. Like this is not original content." I just thought it was funny because I was like, "Wait, this is
It's not. It's 12 years old. We're at this stage now. It's nostalgia. It's
What
like an
the
80s
hell?
vaporwave hot take.
Well, you know what, Ryan, it's kind of funny because you've been calling this out for a while that like, oh my God, we're back at like the 2010 to 2015 red pill era all over again.
But not in the good way, man.
Is it like
That's what
cyclical?
I
I
mean,
mean-
we have like Terrence Popp sitting in front of a whiteboard talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
like these hoes. aren't worth
Space
it.
Ghost.
Exactly. Or Tommy Sotomayor is like, I moved to Arizona. I'm around white people. Life is great.
Yeah,
Fuck
the
these hoes."
BT 1000s, the Black Battle and shit.
I kind of want to start a theme on that now where I start showing old keys to the VIP episodes and the pickup artist and that. And it's like, this is what misogyny used to be. It was fun. It was exciting. And it was adventurous. Now it's a bunch of autists sitting there yelling at each other over statistics.
I'm
With
looking
some
through the
OnlyFans
article.
chicks. Like, look
I'm
at
looking
this
through
chart.
your article on the difficulty of dating different ages, and I'm finding this interesting because I mean, none of my experiences are ever going to translate to like the regular dating world, but I feel like as somebody who dates mid 20s to mid 40s pretty regularly, this is like, it's really fascinating to see the take on like because like
Keep in mind too, this is he was in DC. He was dating and doing pickup stuff back when Jack Murphy and Roosh V were doing it. So that's part of this generation. And I know I've heard DC is one of the worst places ever because everybody's all political brain. So
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
I mean,
coming expecting a more like, oh, it's why is this not up to like that's why it's not up to
well,
us.
I think it's good. I mean, I always enjoy it when like a cultural area takes precedence over like the kind of norm. Like I'm from New Jersey, so like the number of
forget about it.
yeah, the steroids I'm like everyone's like, oh, people who use steroids are like this. I'm like, well, in New Jersey, even scientists use steroids, so I don't know what to tell you. It just skews your numbers.
Yeah.
And like I can only imagine what like dating in like where everyone is trying to fucking climb a ladder or like, you know, gain some kind of like connection to something. That sounds
Dude, I can only imagine that must be what Austin, Texas. Was it Austin, Texas, where all the influencers are now, or is that?
Oh my
Dallas, or-
God.
yeah,
yeah.
or I think it might be Dallas or Austin, somewhere down in
Yeah.
Texas.
I
Yeah,
actually did a collab just before this on my Minecraft channel with a guy. By the way, Minecraft collabs so much better than the alpha males and the arguing about sexual dynamics because they're like gainfully employed, they're functional, they can hold a conversation, and they're pleasant. Oh, and they don't spam your chat. Like, it's great. I highly recommend you guys switch this over to Minecraft
Nerds are great.
content.
Nerds are great. This is what we've been learning.
I know that's like Brandy's side gig is to do gaming and hot takes, but yeah, I kind of liked back in the day when I was single because like for me, my social proof was more of the fact that I was in a band and I knew the people in the bands, and that's kind of how I was able to pick up people. I couldn't imagine having to like express political knowledge or
Oh, they don't care about that shit.
No, what?
yeah, but I mean like have connections or like basically the shit in DC, right? Because your social
yeah,
proof
there.
might be the fact that you have like connections to somebody
yeah.
or something like that in that kind of respect. Like I feel like that kind of pickup would just be exhausting.
Listen,
in DC
ignorance-
and in LA. Like in LA, it's kind of like
Yeah,
that, and in DC, it's probably like that. But like in most normal places,
you're right,
it's not
right.
like that.
Ignorance is a
That's what I mean.
viable strategy. I go around life barely knowing anything, and I'm doing
He
great.
feigns
How
ignorance.
Sigma male of you.
Yeah.
The lone
What-
wolf.
Which
I
one
don't
is that
play
one?
Your game, society.
Am I'm Sigma? Which one was that?
Okay, yeah, that Vox Day thing with the gamma male I was talking about earlier. Yeah, Sigma was the other one. Although technically all that meant was like you're good in one social group and then you're in another social group that you don't have status in. So you're acting like you're top tier, but they're like, where does this guy come from? He doesn't fit. All right, look.
Where does
guys have-
charm?
What's
Where,
that?
do you just where does like charming a group go? Like I don't understand.
That's the part of it. That's part of it.
Okay.
Okay, so you know that stupid chart, that hypergamy chart that everybody loves, where it's like the top 20% of girls or guys get all the girls, and everybody thinks that's it, and then you're sad and dour, thinking like it's one super hierarchy around the world, and 20% of women in like South America are cleaning house. It's like no. Every group, podcast groups, your local band, your local pub, there's all a different hierarchy. And there's a top 20% in each one of them, but we have like thousands, millions of little hierarchies all around us. And so what the point of this was supposed to be, in all of your hierarchies, there's going to be 20% of guys cleaning house with the girls there. So if you're not doing so well in this one, join more of them. That's why Kyle could be in the band and he'll be top 20% in the band group. Meanwhile, he comes on this cast and maybe he's like, you're top 20% Rin, and him, he's bottom, like whatever. Or the guy who's just like the mail boy at the, I know. Let's flow through it. Or like you're just at work, you're like a junior analyst, nobody gives a shit, but you're the bartender at the local club. So over there, you're a 10%. Down here, you're bottom 80. And everybody seems to forget that. And then the idea is if Kyle were to come to somebody's office place and he acts like, dude, you're acting like one of the directors or one of the hottest dudes on the C-suite. But he's like, who is he? Who is the fucking guy? That's kind of the idea of Sigma. Is that
Ryan,
you're in a different hierarchy, but you're
that
acting as
sounds-
if you could top a hierarchy.
That
Does that make
sounds a lot
sense?
like Nuance.
Yeah, but specific. See that, Brandon?
No,
That's how
no.
you explain things without just saying nuance.
No,
and,
no.
Like, it's like home base. You can't attack. Nuance.
No, that makes total sense, and I mean I fully like so. To me, though, that 20% statistic was never meant to be any sort of like guideline. It's just like, don't get mad at the people who are like, don't compare yourself to them if that's the kind of like thing in a dynamic. You're like,
Yeah.
maybe learn from them if there's things to learn.
Oh,
But
for
like,
sure.
I also like as somebody who like isn't like terrible looking, but has met people who are like, especially like guys who are like so symmetrical that like going to the bar with them is so frustrating because
Dude, where you're like
I'm-
the one that they bitch that he turned me down and they have to bitch to you about it because you're the guy.
yeah, and I'll have sex with them. I don't mind, but
Dude,
like
you're hurting me in my entire 20s. You really are. I'm feeling this.
But it's crazy because I'm like, all right, like because I've gone out with people like that where they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we should go out and like talk to people, and then I go out with like my like, oh, let me go like talk to that group of people, or let me like do my like social maneuvering and things, and they're just like sipping a beer, hanging out, and I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? It's like, no worries. And then people just start coming up and the gorgeous people are just like, oh hey, that's not a world I've ever lived in. So don't.
That's funny, dude. I thought I was the only one.
Speaking of like going out, I saw this tweet and it was like the death of adult nightlife is another weird thing, which I was like, I don't know what you mean that adult nightlife is
It means
dead.
he hasn't gone online and he doesn't go out.
I know,
Yes.
right? My grandparents
Yes.
gave and attended cocktail parties that went until the wee hours until at least their 60s. Nightclubs were also a thing for adults. Now American life is lame and tends to end in one's 30, if not 30s and not before. If not before. I'm like, I could literally find something to do if I wanted to. Like, if I wanted to go out and do anything, I could. Maybe
Yeah,
not
most-
if you lived rurally.
I think most people are
Stimulants
just,
were more available.
You absolutely can. Absolutely, you can.
I think people are just terminally online and they don't want to go out and actually experience the world. If you go down to East Carson Street, which is like the busiest street in Pittsburgh where all the bars are, there'll still be tons of people out. So like if you want to go meet people, you can go meet people. But I think people who post shit like that are just the world isn't set to their 100% ideal, so they're just happier doing fuck all than actually going out and doing something.
Walter
No, they'll
Mitty,
just blame
tilting at
the world
windmills,
around them.
Name your metaphor, right?
They just blame the world around them.
Right.
Like, instead of doing anything about it, they're like, oh, it's because nightlife sucks now. That's the problem.
well,
It
You know
is
what that
more
is?
expensive to drink out though, so maybe
That is
there's
true. But we
Yeah.
were pre-drinking in the 90s and 2000s too. Save a
Yeah.
bunch of money that way. You go down
I
there
will
and you
say
nurse your
that-
drink all night when you already have butt cut.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree that, like, there does need to be, like, more types
We used
of
to hide
events.
alcohol-sized bottles in our socks. Go to the bathroom, buy a Coke, and then just, douse it up. Everybody
Yeah,
knows this
so-
stuff.
Oh, dude, we used to stand outside the fucking zoo and then fill up Dr. Pepper bottles with fucking rum and Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, you see what I
before we
mean?
go in there.
Where there's a
Yeah.
will, there's a way.
Oh, yeah, well, also, if, like, there's no events that you like, I mean, maybe I'm just, like, this type of person. I'm like, fucking make one. Like, I don't know. Like, if there's no event that's
says
like
the event
doing, like-
producer.
I mean, it's not that hard, okay? Like,
It's a
No,
little harder than that.
You know what? Bring in 20
Ah.
people into your house and just have them drink in the kitchen.
yeah, like anything.
That's the
Like,
Listen,
Canadian way.
but I guess
so
you have
what-
to know people, right? You have to have friends.
No.
first.
Well, you know
Friends
what's
first.
funny is actually when I was in like, as soon as I turned 21, I bought my house when I was 22, and what I used to do is I would just I just had like random ideas. And like the
Bourgeoisie.
one day we decided like, all right, well, we're going to have a flannel party. And I swear to God, like 50, 60 people showed up at my house all ready to fucking drink in flannels and shit. Like just random themes. People fucking go for it. You don't even have to have like a ton of people that you reach out to. Those people just start bringing people over. You don't know them or anything, but everybody's there for a good time. And, hopefully they don't fucking plug up your toilets or anything like that. That's happened, but it's worth it.
My parties are probably very different than your parties, Kyle.
I think so.
Yeah, there's a bowl at the front door. You put your keys in there.
We were just talking about that. We might try to bring back the fishbowl party. It's like almost very uncouth to have like who you're gonna fuck assigned at a sex party, unless everyone kind of like is like on board with the actual act of being told. So we were like literally brainstorming how to make a fishbowl party like a fun time for everybody.
Is that what that's for? Like,
Yeah.
the fish
You
bowl
never
party?
heard that before?
Yeah,
No.
you pull. So a couple comes. So it's a swinger thing, right? Everybody goes into the fishbowl. Like the keys go in, and then the women pull out the keys, and whoever's car it is, they pair up with.
Okay.
I'll give you
Okay.
guys. I'll give you that. This stuff I know. I can talk about all that.
No, I always joke with my
Who says
coworker.
adult nightlife is dead?
I have
Clearly
a
don't hang out with Rin.
I have a few coworkers that always like go out to dinner every single week, and I always joke with them that they're the swingers club, and I'm not in it because they never invite me out to dinner. So I just kind of like, every single time they come back, I think it's like Thursday morning, they're talking, oh, how was dinner last night with so and so. I'm like, hey, you motherfuckers all get a bowl together and.
Yeah, one of the buddies I worked with, that was part of my story actually in Fuck Files. My first month on board ship, he had his stag. He passed out drunk, went home. His fiancée showed up and ended up fooling around with me. Didn't do anything, but that's because her wingman took her out of there, thank God. But then rumors spread around the ship instantly. And then it turns out they were swingers, but the other couples never liked him, so he got kicked out of bed and he had to take photos.
Oh,
And he used to
Brutal.
brag about this, and I was always like, why are you telling that to anybody? Don't ever tell that story again. But he
Oh
liked
my
it 'cause it made
God.
him sound cool. Even our boss was ripping into him, and I'm just like, oh. I think
I
that's
mean-
the worst. I think that's the key with the swinger party and the key party is that you always have to look at the ugliest guys. Like, is he good enough? All right, we can do the party.
I
What's
think
wrong
you
with
need to
his
zoom
face?
in. Yeah, you need to
Dude.
zoom in a little bit more to get his face more in
Should
focus.
we really just
Did he
get
put a fish
right
eye on
there?
that to spread those eyes apart a little bit?
How close can
Yeah.
we get? I think that's as close.
That's why
I
you
don't
don't
know.
drink. Don't become a drinker.
This is
Yeah. Is
fetal
that fetal
alcohol,
alcohol syndrome?
Is that what happens here?
It's the other
Oh,
one.
no.
This is like
them are on
Akira
birth
at the end when
control,
Tetsuo
too,
starts
and birth
expanding.
control.
So this is gonna make me spurg. I just want you all. I'm warning you.
Start it from the beginning.
Oh well, there's
Okay.
nuance to it. Don't worry about it.
Oh no, I'm a spurg, but
Lots
it'll
of
be fine.
nuance.
A lot of them are on birth control too, and birth control like really screws up female brains. By the way, every single one of you need to make sure that your loved ones are not on birth control. It increases depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Birth control is the #1 most prescribed medication for young ladies under the age of 25. They will give young ladies birth control for pimples, for acne, to control their moods, their period. It is awful. It's terrible, and it creates very angry and bitter young ladies and young women. That bitterness then manifests into a political party that is the bitter party. I mean, the Democrat Party is all about bring us your bitterness, and we'll give you free stuff. It's
Birth
like, we'll
control
trade
is the
you.
fault of those godless, goddamn Democrats.
No, dude.
See what these
okay.
guys do though? There's like it starts with a reasonable point. Birth control basically fakes you fake being pregnant all the time, and so it affects
Yep.
your thing. That I get behind. And then he goes full Alex Jones, and that's why you hate men and you vote Democrat.
Yep.
Well,
You gotta throw the brand in there.
Yeah, you gotta
This
get that leap, that one little
The
leap. The
grip.
frogs being gay.
Yeah.
Well, this is so that also just kind of makes me mad because I do get the point of like, yes, hormones affect us, all that jazz. But I think that it's interesting that people on the conservative right will actually make these excuses that will make it. They'll be like, women are never accountable for their actions, but then they'll
Is he a
do these
conservative
things.
or is he a pundit?
He's
Yes.
a
Like,
Conservative
does he run
pundit?
in something?
no,
Is he what?
he's not. He doesn't run for anything.
So he's one of the cheerleaders. He's not on the team.
yeah, no, yeah,
Essentially, yeah.
yeah.
You get what I'm
but-
saying?
Yes. But it seems like a lot of these people don't like everyone will say that women aren't accountable for their actions, but then they'll give them like these like excuses. No, it's because women vote Democrat because they're on birth control. Women are crazy because they're on birth control. Like it's like still
Schrodinger's
the women
agency,
are
man.
still not
Yeah.
being like no, it's because they make they're acting crazy. How about that?
I
Why
know.
not just say this bitch is just being crazy? This bitch is voting Democrat.
I
Like-
love how you hate red pill and then you just say the most red pilled shit ever.
Well, no, I
That's
get very.
Schrodinger's agency.
This is
That's
the
another
most.
20
Well, yeah, no,
welcome to
it's kind of
2012 red
yeah.
pill, man.
No,
This
but
is kind of funny because that prefrontal cortex tweet that I had that really blew up.
Oh my
friend-
god.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious. It was like a total throwaway too, but it got over 240,000 views. It ended up on iFunny, and Julie, who we had on not the last episode but the episode before, she messaged me and somebody said, "Oh, like women with undeveloped prefrontal cortexes make more irrational decisions, and that's how they end up with you or something like that." And she messaged me and said, "Oh, well, this lady kind of owned you there," and basically it comes back to the same thing. Oh, well, women aren't accountable for their actions according to you. I think they are, but if you're going to say that, oh, well, their prefrontal cortex is developed, so therefore
Men's
they're
aren't developed
unaccountable.
either until they're
Yeah, and
25.
Either way, that's
So, like,
beside
to
the
say
point.
it's just women, that's besides the point. Both
Here's the
anyone
thing.
under the age of 25 is stupid. That's
Everybody
fine.
knows conservative men are longhouse. They are. They absolutely are
Yes.
matriarchal. Now, here's the issue with Schrodinger's agency. It's that a woman has agency or doesn't have agency, whichever one makes her look better in the situation. So in this case, women aren't bad, evil Democrat voters. They're being tricked by Big Pharma.
Yeah.
See what I mean? But then when they're conservative trad women, they make their babies. Oh, these women are making
Boss
choices.
babes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same, and you see it. Honestly, now that you've heard it, you're never going to not see it. You're going to see a
Yep.
girl, Lauren Southern, another great example. You know how all of a sudden nothing's her fault? I didn't pick the wrong man. I didn't get knocked up and left. I didn't sleep with Destiny and like all this goofy shit. Like whatever, like her, don't like her, that's fine. But it's just so funny how all of a sudden she lacks agency. And not
Well,
just
this
her,
is why
all
I'm a
20-year-old women
feminist.
lack agency now.
This is literally the reason is because the number one thing for me is like agency and accountability and personal responsibility, which is the one thing that I think women are fucking lacking
Yeah,
on
but
all
we agreed
fronts.
that you're not like you're a woman, but you're also not. Like Matt Walsh would be like, really? You know what I mean?
What?
Maybe she does know what it is.
You're not like the other girls, and I'm not saying that because I'm just trying to butter you up. You really aren't.
But so, if that is the
Like,
case,
picture yourself with a vanilla frap, and put yourself in that mindset, and it makes much more sense.
it doesn't.
Put on some
Brandy's
yoga
not
pants.
like a Karen or something.
Yeah, like some kind of basic bitch.
No,
Go watch,
yeah, the
go watch
Uggs and
Love
the
Is Blind
leggings.
3 times. Grab your vanilla frap. Make one
I
of those.
love Sex in the City. That's very girly.
There you go. Get in that Sex in the
It's a
City mindset.
Yeah,
but
but which
I-
one's your favorite character?
I
she
don't
likes
have
the-
one. I actually just liked the show because
You like
it's
Kim
my
Cattrall.
comfort
There's no
show.
way you don't.
Well, obviously she's base as fuck, but
Yeah.
but no, but everyone always that show's interesting because everyone's like it's like this feminist like show that brainwashed everyone to go want to be girl bosses. But if you watch it, like it's actually very mean to Samantha, and like Charlotte is literally the entire time trying to get pregnant. Like she's obsessed with the idea of having children. So it's really not this like girl boss show that everyone pretends it is, because
A lot of shows from that era were just like bad, like horrible people kind of being glitzed and glammed up. And
Remember that last episode of Seinfeld where it was basically like they were such assholes they got put in jail for it?
Yeah.
But I think
that
that's
show
the
was at
thing.
least a little more self-aware about how
Yeah, you
shitty they
girls
were.
are now having your video games cause school shootings moment where they're like, Sex in the City made you all vapid whores.
I know.
Your Columbine was Lauren Southern getting knocked up by that dude, that Fed. That's your yeah.
That is so fucking funny.
if Brandy's not the regular girl, though, I mean, like there's like there are a lot of women out
I don't
there
really
who
believe
don't
that.
conform. No, I hear what he's saying.
Well, yeah,
I see what
it's
he's
a
saying.
bell curve is what I'm saying. Is that there's a bell curve. You're going to see average behavior, and there's going to be outliers. And you're one whether you're a second or third standard deviation doesn't really matter.
Can't it be taught though, or can't like women like be like I just feel like
Fuck
they're
do I know. I don't
this
fix
is what
women.
I'm saying. I feel I understand that, but I feel like having self-awareness is important, and I think like having women be like, hey, just be fucking accountable for your actions and stop blaming the world for everything.
That's
I think
too
men
much
need
to
to
ask.
stop
But that
doing it too.
Advice is good for everybody, and that's like that's what the world at large needs.
Let me ask you
Yes.
this. If I can go on camera and blame a man for all my problems and everybody else coddles me because they want to sleep with me, why wouldn't I not have agency and accountability for my actions? Where's the incentive? That
mean,
good example.
that
fresh
does-
fit
that-
chick. Remember that one? She got knocked up by Walter, and now she's like,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like, I want you to have an
actually.
abortion because I got 3 other baby mamas paid for it. She's like, no, and then she
Let's
releases
play
it
it.
all for clout. What possible incentive does she have to take accountability for any of that?
And to
She will
behave
literally
well,
get
yeah.
paid by plastering herself as the victim who didn't know any better.
I mean,
How are you going to fix that?
That's a poison. That's a poison pill, though, and I think people are learning that. Like, you know, you go in.
Walter's
and-
not.
Ride's trying to he's trying to tip over to the casual racism. I can hear it already.
No. I don't even need to be racist on this one. What the hell?
here's this one. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna do the whole 2 minutes, but we can just
I
like
want
get the
baby.
gist.
I don't want to kill the baby. I don't want to kill.
Just play
nobody.
fast.
What the fuck does she?
I don't want.
Look, she's
to.
staring in the mirror, smiling as she's saying the line.
They just give you a pill and then it's over.
No, no.
Fuck
I'm
those
pregnant.
boobs. I'm sorry.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The pill, they just give it to you from a doctor and then you're good.
I am pregnant. I can't pretending like nothing happened. I can't.
I love her accent.
In my religion, we don't kill.
You're not killing. Okay.
Wait, aren't they Muslim?
I want to keep. the
Right.
baby.
I don't know if Walter is.
Yeah. Muslim, like Tate.
Okay. Well,
Somebody's got to give me the spark notes on what's happening here.
So
Okay,
this
so
is fresh
okay.
and fit. It's fresh. She is
And what you-
pregnant. He's trying to get her to have an abortion. She is
Classic.
now spreading it everywhere.
Mhm,
Um,
Like, how did
did
he
she
not
have
know?
the
Once she starts
abortion
putting
or
on
no?
her acting, who cares? Once she starts putting on her acting voice on the phone, like you got to know that shit's being recorded.
why did I do anything to you?
Nothing.
Nothing. Hold-
Why did I do anything to you?
But yeah, I mean, this is like a one night stand type of thing, right?
You know what
I
gets
don't
me about
know.
this the most? For as much as these guys parade themselves as the quintessential red pill guys, it would be nice if they fucking exemplified any part of it ever. I have yet to see a personal decision. This is always the before photo.
Yes.
Fucking
Ooh,
in the whole
wait.
thing, you know? every time.
I have another one of Myron that is pretty fucking funny.
Was it the one about him yelling about small dick energy?
No, this one.
What in the hell?
With this
If
guy.
there's men that watch this show,
Oh God.
it's probably how to respect and how to have a long-term healthy relationship with a woman that you can call your wife and have a family with.
How do
I
you
don't
get a
even know
wife,
who this guy
Ethan?
is.
Because my thing
Ethan
is,
Klein.
you're like you're talking about the finish line. What about the race?
Yeah.
You understand? Like you have to get
Are
to a
either of
certain
you
point
married?
where you can even identify a female that's worthy of marriage, of having a family with, etc. And
He has
unfortunately,
no idea what he's talking about. You can
not
hear
that
it.
simple anymore. So we live in a very complex world where it's difficult to identify women that are marriage material.
And most aren't. Simply, that's just what it is.
So
You
when
guys
I-
are.
right.
If you
What was
guys' method is so good, why aren't you married?
Again,
because men are the ones that decide if they want to get married.
choice.
So
You see
you
that?
choose not to be married.
Yes, because men are the
You're-
one. We're the gatekeepers to marriage and commitment. Women are the gatekeepers to sex.
Right. And you're 34, right, Myron?
Yes.
And do you plan on getting married someday? Do you think it's important?
Eventually, the nuclear family is the backbone to any thriving society.
Oh, thank you for saying that about me.
Good job, but a lot of guys don't have that ability to find a woman that's worthy.
You don't have that ability.
I don't have that ability.
You're not married.
That's by choice.
Oh, but no, the ability to find a woman, you clearly don't have that ability. So you use the sugar daddy websites as dating sites.
Yes, so we did a whole episode on
And then
this.
you complain about women being shallow.
I never complained about women.
Who is this
You say
guy?
people
He's
find
cracking
good
me
women
up.
because they're motivated by
Oh, he's
material
generally a
things and
fucking
stuff,
douche.
and
It's
yet
just-
you're
Yeah.
seeing women.
You know, if you're next to
specifically
this,
a
you can't
certain
help
type
but
of woman,
shine.
Sure,
obviously,
sure,
if you're
that's
on a
super
sugar
fair.
daddy website. So it seems like you are confirming your biases by even going there to find women.
Okay, so you
Sorry,
said
Walter. I'll say it. Do you want me to say it again slower?
Like, it's so
You
true,
see how they
though.
just walk into stupidity like that with like not a care in the world? Ah, fuck it, let's go. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
It's like, kind of admirable, I guess. I don't know.
That was the worst episode of Law and Order where they solved the case by that cross examination I've ever seen. The only way to have been better is if there was a catchphrase in there halfway through. This is what I hate about Fresh and Fit, and why I'm never not going to call these guys embarrassment ever to anything red pill, because like he knows a little bit about a little bit, same as that other guy where like you started well, but then you jumped off into the frogs are gay. He went frogs are gay, and you could tell as soon as he stopped talking about him and started saying females and dudes, and that's when he's talking about this fictional thing he invented in his head, which there's like 10% of it was true, but his conclusions were messed up. And he didn't know how to go off script, so he kept trying to pull him back. Like, look, I know this line, and I'm going to say this line, and whatever question you ask me, it's coming back to this line.
It kind of sounds like what you're describing is that basically he was dancing in like, describing things in the abstract and then going back to reality rather than just kind of focusing on one.
Well,
Yeah, well, except for the going back to reality thing.
That's how you sell
it's
your
like,
grift.
How did I maybe, but are people that stupid where Ethan's like, he walked, like, you could see the setup. Even Ethan, like, smiled. Like, really? I'm not going to have to work at it. I had all these notes. I had this plan. I did some strategizing, and all I have to do is just keep asking. I think that would be, like, if I was the Ethan in that one, that's what would make me mad. It's not that...
you showed
like,
up for a fight, and they didn't even...
Yeah, you didn't even fight. You're just like,
there.
yeah, of course I'm an idiot. Like,
He like sounded bored almost. Like, how old are you?
And I noticed he
34.
usually has like a tetanus or like a twitch in his eye from tonight, or what's that stupid Tourette's or whatever. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make fun of it because it's really a medical condition. Stable. He had no twitch at all during that. He was in the zone.
Very casual.
Yeah.
But it is true though, because the fact that he goes on Seeking Arrangements, like what? And then it is like all women are shallow bitches. Like I don't.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
understand
You need the
that.
self-awareness to accept that. Like I know there's a bunch of guys that do that, and I know they do it, and it's
Okay,
fine. I don't care.
But do they admit they like it?
No,
That they
no,
like girls like that?
Yeah, but at the same time, you also admit, you can easily admit to yourself and be honest and say, that is a biased sample. The kind of girls that want sugar daddies, but a fling on the side.
Yes.
These
Okay,
might
well-
be the kind of women who aren't incentivized to act right
Yeah.
So
in that
I think
traditional
with the,
sense.
with the whole sugar daddy thing, I think they literally go on to Seeking Arrangements because they're looking for girls for the show, and maybe they're not, but that's just
No.
the explanation that's the explanation they given. You decide if that's true or not. I don't know.
Next, you're going to say those
so-
girls have OnlyFans accounts. I refuse to believe it, sir. Those
Uh,
are all local Miami girls. They came after
Yeah.
Castro's Cuba exile, just like Scarface, and they're there trying to find a good man, and they're ruined.
Well, then even if he has them on the show, it's still not. It's still biased sample size. Like his entire show is a biased sample size of
Which, and don't
girls
get me
on
wrong,
Seeking
a
Arrangements.
a bias sample could be a good thing. These are very extreme. Like a girl that's an OnlyFans girl or on Seeking Arrangements, these are like third standard deviation outliers. Great, because they exaggerate traits in the general pop, I would argue. So there's some value in it.
I have gone on dates. I've gone on dates with people from those websites, although not through the websites because they're like wildly expensive. But I'm on those websites, and then if I match with people on the apps, I'll be like, "Oh, I came across your profile on Seeking."
That's a good icebreaker. I like it.
It's actually, it's really great. And then we like talk about it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll buy you dinner," because I would buy dinner on a first date anyway. I don't care. And then it's really fascinating to see that, because I know sex workers who use those websites for like very easy, casual. Yeah. And, a lot of them are actually much more, especially I feel like it's unfortunate how much some of that has almost gotten ruined by these fresh and fit people, or the people who are doing that. Like, it used to be like old dudes who were lonely and looking for companionship. And like, I knew young women who were like
looking for guests.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is really just ruining the whole. It was a good thing.
Do you want to free
red pill and sex work? That's good.
Do you want to come onto my podcast for a free White Claw and to get thrown off?
Yeah, I'd love to yell at you for 20 minutes. That'd be hot.
But I also don't think that is a good sample size for the general public, or even representative of most people at all.
Think about it this way, though. Okay, well, if there's an exaggeration, right, there are still people, but also think about, like, if it's an exaggeration and you're more prepared to deal with women because of that, then maybe it's not entirely a bad thing that you're exposed to, like, someone being as extreme as they are, if you're a little bit more cautious and a little bit more aware of how far south things can go. Because when you're just meeting somebody, you don't know if this person's batshit nuts or if they're going to be okay. I mean, you get to feel pretty quick, but at least you have the correct expectation going into things.
I'm pretty sure it's like less than 2% of the population that does sex work. So it's like very small.
Well, yeah, but
I guess you could depend on the definition of prostitution and things, because that gets all kinds of arguments.
No, yeah, I'm talking about OnlyFans and everything. OnlyFans and everything. Like, it's like less than 2%.
I get that. It's a statistical anomaly. What he's saying is like it's the same as military. Mm-hmm. You train for the worst case scenario. Yep. So that anything that happens, you can handle it. Like, no matter how bad these chicks get, I've dated that coked out stripper. I can handle Debbie from accounting.
Right. Yes.
But do you not think that it gives people?
Debbie might have a thing on the side.
Do you not think it gives people a skewed view of what women are like because they think
Wait,
that they're
are you
all
saying
like
the
that?
internet gives people a skewed view of reality?
Yes.
Of people, of humans?
Absolutely.
I don't know if I can get behind that, because like, pull up that tweet about the nightlife going away because in the 1920s they had flapper girls. Like, that was really insightful.
Oh my god.
I saw that, and they used the photo from like The Shining too to make his point. It's like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, what's wrong with you guys? Yeah, instead of looking at TikTok, everybody was reading a newspaper.
But you see, that's not the issue. Is not so much what flavor of crazy is filling your head with nonsense. It's the people that have no other information coming in but this online crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just spending time with real people tends to just completely obliterate
How do we
most
make
of what
these
you learn
people
about
get
these
off
things.
the internet?
Why would I?
Go
Is it my
outside.
job to save the
I know.
unsalvageable?
I know.
You can't.
I don't know, because it worries me a little bit, but maybe
Why don't you go to Portland, try to get all them meth heads off of fentanyl? I think that's much better use of your time, because
the world might be a better place without them.
Well, it's not that you're going to fix them. It's that at some point you'll get stabbed and you'll give up this stupid, crazy notion of saving people.
Yeah.
I mean this lovingly, not a death stab, but like
a friendly stab, a friendly shank.
Not really about saving people, more so like it really just comes back to like accountability again. Like, how do you make people
to act how you want them to act, and they're not doing it, and it bothers you?
Yep.
Aren't you a libertarian or something?
Yeah.
Are you a good one?
No, I don't. Here's the thing. It's more so like
she gets called a Jew libertarian.
Having
all the time.
self-awareness. Yeah.
Oh, you got called. She got called a trans man yesterday by my friend Pete.
It was today, and
that was today.
Pete Quintes.
Are you?
Quinones.
Is Quinones?
I never thought to
ask.
I thought it was rude to ask. Are you? Or can I ask?
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so that's a no.
No. What
just
the
checking.
fuck?
Look, I'm just.
That's one of your ads
like you broached
too.
the topic. We should ask.
You guys are
Viewers
dicks.
need to know.
Viewers need to know.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
What's your opinion on Fresh? Do you have a dick? These are very simple questions.
Yes or no?
Oh my god.
Why are you being so evasive? Why are you getting mad? It's just questions.
Pete is a legend. I don't know about that.
No, listen, Pete. I'm serious. Pete is like one of the nicest dudes ever. if
You have
interact
the
with him one-on-one.
horrible judge of character, so I don't.
No. Oh, come on. Who was friends with Ryan before you knew Ryan?
Yeah, you have a couple wins here and there, but
No,
for the most
I have
part-
plenty. I have plenty of wins.
Who's this
Kyle has
Tromboli
regular-
guy? The problem with
just
Fresh
kidding.
and Fit is they have charisma. Who the fuck have you been talking? What's your baseline level of like charisma having? Because I have a feeling it's a very uncalibrated. Yelling "bro" 7 times is not charisma.
Yeah, I don't think that Myron has charisma, and I don't think I've heard Fresh speak very much. I feel like he just is
No.
like he's kind of like a yes
I think
man.
Walter almost seems like he has like a little bit of the tism.
Yeah.
Are
That's
there-
why I
are-
hated when they bring on like Terrence Popp or Tommy Sotomayor. Those guys have charm. They have charisma.
Yes.
Even when they're misogynist, you're like, dude, my girl and I used to sit here watching Terrence Popp, and he was like, these women ain't shit. That's charisma.
But
And then you get this guy on here, like, hey, look at this chart. Females, bro. Females. Bro.
Oh,
women,
God.
all right.
Guys, I have to show you this because this shit kind of cracked me up a little
What the
bit.
hell is that? What boy band
I
is
was
this?
just about to ask the same question. Jesus Christ.
Hold, please. You guys are gonna get a kick of this, I think.
You women nowadays are always telling men that we don't want girlfriends. We want moms. When we ask you to do basic women-like things for us. No, we want you to act like women in our mom's generation. You know, the women that raised us, the women that took care of their husbands, cooked
He
for
looks
their
like an old Italian mom.
their family. They don't want to go to
He does
work
look
and
like
abandon
a
their
American
kids. They
Italian.
don't want to party at the clubs all weekend and act like they hate men all the time. So no, we don't want moms. We want you to act like wives. And unfortunately for us men, it seems like the last time that happened was in our mom's generation.
I
Funny
want
thing
Kiefer
here,
Sutherland in the Lost Boys. Oh, we have Kiefer Sutherland from the Lost Boys at home.
like, but he puts more effort into his appearance than I do. Like, I just
I can't fault a guy for being metrosexual. That's like
I
the
guess I
8th
can't.
worst thing
I
about
don't
him.
know. I kind of fucking hate those earrings, but that's just me being.
Well, that's the Kiefer Sutherland. That's 8 right there.
I kind of fucking hate.
I
those.
mean, he's coming from the Italian like perspective. This is why like Italians are not marrying.
Why are
because
we
they have that
assuming his
culture.
ethnicity?
No,
His
I'm
last
not talking
name's
about
Gardner.
You mean culture, not race. It's
I'm talking about the problem there where like Italian women are leaving Italy because Italian men have these expectations of being like, oh, we want you to act like the wives, like all these sort of things.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we don't want to do that. We'll go somewhere else where we'll get better fucking relationship deals.
Yeah, so that's like
and
the
that's
opposite
just a
of the
that's just a
passport,
fact.
bro.
Like the marketplace is.
Yeah.
You can be mad it's gone, but you know.
Passport bro.
Why,
Well, now
why,
there's-
why can't women nowadays be like my mom's generation and survive polio? Like, what's up with chicks nowadays? Some things you just can't have back. Because back then, if you didn't
They
take
have-
care of your man and feed him, he didn't get to work, and so you all starved. So they were incentivized to feed their man all day, and they couldn't get a job because you couldn't give him a credit card. Oh, dude,
I was gonna say couldn't have a credit card. Yeah, that whole thing.
Which, in fairness, like I'm all for like repeal the 19th is cope, whatever. The credit card one
What's the credit card?
kind of has a
one?
point. Women couldn't get credit without their husband's permission
Oh,
or their.
I've
father's
never had a
permission.
credit card.
I
in my
mean,
entire life.
there's a whole bunch of like there's
Like you
no
just check the stats and you're like, I can see why.
Well, I'm terrified of credit cards, so I've just
should
never
be.
gotten one.
Have you
But
seen
now I have
consumer
zero
debt among women?
credit. No, but now I have
Yeah.
zero credit.
Yeah,
So it's
women
not
hold
good.
2/3 of
I should
student
get
debt.
one.
Maybe.
And just
student
not
debt
use
is
it.
very different than credit debt, though.
Well, still, but
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it's
that's
not. You can't discharge
default
it.
on it. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
default.
It's worse. It's basically debtor's prison.
Yeah,
But luckily, with the way inflation's going, that money's going to be worth so little. You're actually kind of making money.
it's
The more
gonna
we start
get
printing money to
inflated,
pay
yeah.
COVID stimmy checks, at least
Wait,
in
It's gonna get
Canada.
inflated away.
Yeah.
So
We
wait,
would have
are
done
you
a lot better with inflation, but you Americans were inflating too, so we kind of kept up.
Yeah.
I know. I go to Canada and the discount is like not really hitting as hard as it used to. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, dude, it sucks. I was getting that 30% arbitrage for switching from US to Canadian, and now it's like,
Yeah.
I
15,
kind of want
20?
Biden to start being more like the Biden they complain he is. Like, that'd be great up here.
Yeah,
We need like a Hillary Clinton in there. Really help out that export market. Sorry for you guys. I know you want Trump or something, but I'm just saying, from Canadians, a little bit of Hillary Clinton would go a long way. We'll
I'm
give
done
you
with- I'm
Trudeau.
done with all of them.
You can have him
Yeah.
and run Hillary Clinton.
Women's
and his-
biggest fear is men's expectation.
Elaborate
Which-
on that one.
He's not
Women-
wrong, but it's missing nuance. There used to be a
Ryan's
purple pill
telling
debate
Nuke to go
place.
fuck himself. That's what he's saying.
No. Well, there was a purple pill debate. They used to love arguing about red pill stuff, kind of like you guys. Only theirs was horrible, autistic, and mean spirited, and yours is fun and cheeky.
Oh, I thought you were going to
And
say ours is just autistic.
They would always. There was like very similar stories coming out of it. My dad loved my mom, but he gave her an allowance, and he loved me more than mom. It seemed, and she was like, I would never want to be put in that demeaning position again. So it was like a weird thing where they saw how dad loved the daughter more than the mom. And she's like, I don't want my husband to turn into that when we have kids. And so there's a bit of daddy issue there. And then they were always scared about, like, neurotic about, well, what happens if he leaves and then I don't get any money? And that's a lot of reasons why girls would never trust a man, because they're just afraid of the risk you take on it. So it's kind of similar to the guys talking about divorce raping and that. Women have their own neuroticisms. And if there was like a girl talking about this stuff, you could probably work out a system. But, you know, most girls are just busy baking cake with their tits hanging out. So it's like,
But
no.
I'm still women's biggest fear is men's expectations.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
still
that's
trying
the
to wrap my head around
expectation,
that
because
too.
what happens if you don't meet that expectation, if you're not good enough? Like, every 30-year-old on Twitter right now is losing her fucking mind because the one guy called Sydney Sweeney a mid. 3 million women losing their fucking
I don't
mind.
understand how they don't know that it's a fucking like troll at this point.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's a troll, but that's the
Because-
problem, is that it's
yeah,
so
people-
effective because it taps into a primal insecurity women have.
Well,
Because if
people
I'm
wanna
not
get
good
worked
enough,
up.
then no man will want me, and then I'm going to die alone and lonely, and it's like a social
But isn't that the
exiling.
point of why people are saying Sydney, or like that Scarlett Johansson is mid, is to get women riled up? Why that guy commented on my post and called me trans? Like, it's
Everything
literally
on
just
TV
to be
is designed to tap into women's emotions so you buy more shit. Women are a 13 or a $14 trillion a year consumer goods industry. Men are like 3.5. Everything
Really?
on TV, everything on the internet is designed to make women emotional,
Except Rin.
because
Oh.
by bypassing the frontal lobe, you get them emotional to buy things without thinking it through. And I'm not saying this as demeaning to women. I'm just saying marketers have found it's more cost effective to cater to them, and it works really well. Peloton,
So-
all they had to show was the one girl awkward on the bike one day. Now they're fucking selling like hotcakes.
There was
So
actually,
I-
I got a mail letter from my Peloton about a lawsuit. So yeah.
Nice.
The kid dying under the fucking treadmill was wild. I would
Jesus.
like to get back to this the expectation. Like, so I'm trying to understand if, in my mind, like women's like the move towards autonomy on both sides, like not having credit, like all these. Like, so to me, where women have the option to leave easily, right? So both people have the option to leave easily is a dream for me, because then the relationship is there's no power dynamics
opt-in,
keeping it together.
not-
Right, exactly. So is that playing into the expectation as the fear, or am I missing the mark?
I don't think it plays in, because you guys are making logical, rational arguments.
Sorry,
And I don't
sorry
think you
about that.
understand how neurotic these people are. Like, go on to any of these dating things or the Twitter or whatever. Does that sound like neurotic people having a freak out moment, completely detached from reality, or does that sound like well-adjusted people making rational economic decisions? Like, honestly.
I mean, yeah,
if you're
Twitter.
on if you're on Twitter for an extended period of time, you're going to see people are just there to lose their fucking minds
It
24/7.
makes
And
you
yeah,
go
and if you're not
schizophrenic.
neurotic about this shit, you're just not online. All these men are averagely good enough, and I'm having a hard time. Like, nobody says that. They're always like, men ain't shit. I'm gonna lose my house and all this shit. People complain online. Nobody's happy online. Unless you go on to, like, I don't know, coffee. I think coffee Twitter is the only one where they talk about the new breed of coffee. They love that shit. But everybody else has some villain coming out to get them. Everything's going to hell. The politics guys. Dude, it's been World War III for like 8 world wars now, and I've been here for all of them. And for some reason, not one firework outside the house. Not one.
Yeah, I
This
I
is-
was oh good, right.
Go ahead, I had nothing.
No,
Yeah,
there
go,
was,
Kyle.
I was just in an argument with somebody because they were talking about political stuff, and he's saying about, oh my god, how could you not be optimistic about this, and this, and this, and this? I'm like, you're like speculating political stuff in the future, and like we just have no idea the reliability of anything like that. Like when I hear people talking about speculation of anything that's going to happen in the future, political, then it's like you have no idea because shit changes so fast. But I mean, the reason why I bring this up is just because like everything around us is so uncertain. So really, just fucking control what you can control. and fucking let everybody else do their own thing. Because that's all you really can control is what you do and how you react to it at the end of the day.
And we can easily say, dude, if you get all women off of social media for 10 years, the birth rate will like maybe. But repeal the 19th. What other magical alien magic wands do you want to throw at the problem?
What's
if
step
everybody
2?
just did exactly what I wanted to, it would all work out perfectly.
Ban birth control. Ban birth control and
if you just made everything
forced
cost a quarter of what it
marriages.
does, births would probably go up too.
Yeah, that's right up there with those commie fucks talking about if all the rich people just gave all their money away, everything would be solved. It's like, really?
Wave the wand.
Yep.
But that's just where we are. Life is messy.
the
People are
rich.
neurotic. They're going to make stupid decisions, and the stupider the decision, the more reach it gets on social media. So, if you this is all your inputs, all you're going to get is this disastrous view of the world. So you have to temper that with like what you can see. I think that's honestly, Marshall McLuhan absolutely called it with the medium as the message. Like if you can't see it or touch it with your own eyes, it can't exist. Because it's all just fear-mongering, neuroticism, and bullshit, and AI is going to make it so much worse. But it's not a problem. It's a fake problem. We made it up.
Yeah, because we like having problems.
Yeah, it feels good to have that problem, though.
I wonder.
Oh my god, the population collapse. We went from 1 billion to 8 billion, and in 30 years we're going to go down to 6 billion. It's like, oh my god, we're going to be back to like 1986 levels of dystopia.
Thank you.
Listen. Wait, what are you talking? Thank you. You guys are the ones who are always arguing that.
I've never said
I'm big fan of declining birth rates for fixing the middle class. More power.
Well, I mean, the Black Plague wasn't a historical example of that.
I mean, I just don't
workers'
want
rights. Yeah. Most workers' rights that we think of today and labor stuff all developed after the population of Europe got decimated from the Black Plague. I'm not saying it's a good solution, but it did work.
Yeah,
the power in the hands of labor.
I just don't like the idea of people dying unnecessarily. Like, when you start talking about like when you start talking about population decline, then it's kind of like, well, I mean, that typically has grim, implications.
Well, in a controlled way, right? In a controlled way, it's not war, chaos, riots, and things like that. Is my hope.
I would rather be more chaotic and emergent as opposed.
It would
to
be more.
Hand on the button.
It would be more effective in terms of like corrective, but it would be more. There'd be more suffering along with that happening.
See, that's the thing. I can accept. This is the trolley problem totally too.
It really is.
I would love to turn the switch to save 5 people, or I guess you know what I mean. And I'm like, no, because I don't trust people's ability to control this as much as I would be willing to put up with the suffering. Does that make sense? People have proven
because
time and time again, as soon as we have a great idea, we're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, well,
China tried it, Russia tried it, Venezuela tried it, Cuba tried it. Every time somebody tries it, Canada's trying it right now. Every time we think, oh, I see what's going on, I can fix this, it always goes to shit. And
I think we just
it's
need
great if you just let the process play out, but at the very least, you don't have an asshole in charge that ends up being some college kids go-to reading for like the next 50 years.
I think we need to see what happens in Japan before we get more a sense of like what a negative birth rate does for like in a controlled decline as opposed.
But we
to
don't even have a negative birth rate right now.
No, we don't, but they do.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's fine. Although I know there's a lot of panic going on there, like as they are like there's writing on the wall.
Why don't they just smash?
They are literally the Japanese government literally pays people to date, and it's amazing.
Like, I guess I'm confused. Like, why don't they
smashing.
want?
They're just not having babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Birth control. They're just like they're too like.
That's a whole
Women don't want to have babies, therefore they're not having babies. It's that simple. As much as we can say like guys need to step up, fertility is ultimately like a feminine, I don't know, choice, problem, solution, bottleneck, whatever you want to call it.
Feminine situation.
Why the women are the gatekeepers of that.
Yeah,
That's fair to say. Yeah,
gatekeepers. And that's the thing. Ultimately, like, what do they know has increasing birth rates? Education kills birth rate. Affluence kills birth rates. And education, affluence, and there was one other thing. Basically, all the things that you take for granted because you're a nice, healthy, educated woman, basically we have to beat you down to the Stone Age to make like girls writ large have babies. I don't want to go there. I don't think you want to go there because you already got this. I have a nuance point to make.
I mean, I think people...
You don't want to have kids.
Decided,
you would have nuance instead of kids.
But that's the point. As a society, we have decided, all of us, that we would rather have educated women with jobs and OnlyFans accounts than we would a 6.0 birth rate. But we don't seem to accept that that's the choice we've made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
think a
true.
lot of people
It's
are
true.
just like throwing a temper tantrum about it.
Of course, they're throwing a temper tantrum because I can't believe the consequences of my own actions have come back.
But I also think a lot of people don't realize that like this isn't new in a historical
Ever.
context either. Like the Roman Empire, Augustan
is.
law, they had a bunch of laws in there to try to like get birth
Oh yeah,
rates
the
up
bachelor
because
tax and shit.
yeah, well, because they fucking won infanticide. This is another thing I think is funny because everyone's like, "Oh, but men would never. If men would never have abortion be a thing, like that's a woman thing." Nobody knows about infanticide from the Roman Empire, where they were literally
Spartans
just
love that shit.
throwing. They were just throwing babies outside. They would
Well,
like
they didn't
they
even
were-
count as people till they were 5, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. Well, a father could just kill their child whenever they wanted. Like they had the right to
Yeah.
do that.
Now only mom does.
Yeah.
Congrats,
and,
guys.
and the
you
men
got,
are
you're the new
pissed about
Spartans.
it.
I will kill him, and then I will go online and talk about how it was a great mistake and farm that clout. Put on a cross and make some
shout
fake-
shout your abortion.
and then talk about how women need to be held accountable, but not in that case because that was different. That was the red pill guy's fault.
Oh my god.
You know what's funny too? You're thinking you're like, I've seen this scenario already play out 3 times.
I
How do you take
mean,
this stuff seriously? Like
Yeah.
you're trying to straight face all this internet babble. How do you do it? I can't do it.
me? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Are there
I might
places
get-
on the Are there places on the internet that are happy? Like I love thinking about I'm thinking about what internet communities are just like
Warhammer
thriving.
forums. It's the only one I've seen.
Nerds, dude, nerds.
Weight
What
loss.
are you talking
people,
about?
When you see people post about like weight loss transformations,
Nerds are
generally
mean.
you'll
Wait,
get,
wait.
like,
What,
more-
Kyle? What are you saying?
Generally, when you look at like weight loss forums or when
Oh,
people
weight loss,
start
okay.
to share like transformation stories, that's generally when you'll see like a lot of positivity. And like whenever I see it, like I've had a whole bunch of friends recently that told me, hey, I lost like 50, 60, 70 pounds. I always try to share that because I think that shit should be shared because most of the time on Twitter, you're on there just to scream into the void or, quote tweet some nonsense. So if I see one of my friends that, made a dramatic change in their life, which I have had people tell me that, hey, this is what happened, I always try to share that because I think that's definitely good stuff to put out into the ether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with this whole idea that nerds are nicer. I literally get
I
called
don't-
We said
names.
nicer. We said happier.
Oh, I get called names constantly by nerds on the
Trans
internet
man.
yelling
What
at
do you know about Warhammer? Maybe you should get out of that space if you don't love the Emperor unconditionally.
Wait,
Come in here with your
Unliving.
orc magic bullshit. Nobody's listening to that.
are
I
you talking
love
about
the WoW.
Total War?
The
You have no
wow.
idea what we're talking about. This is why the nerds are mean to you.
Wait,
You
Warhammer?
walk
Like,
into a Warhammer forum, it's like, is this Age of Empires?
no, I was saying nerds in general because I play other games. But like, are you talking about Total War Warhammer or Warhammer
No,
what?
Warhammer 40k.
What the fuck is that?
Oh man.
There you go.
So
I'm
the
not even
orcs,
starting. I'm not.
the
I can't
orcs
even.
can fly around. So they're the power of their collective belief
to
is
look it
such.
up.
Yeah, and they're like mushrooms. And
Yeah.
the Emperor is the
Warhammer
human, kind of
40K.
the
The lich.
kind of like Duke, like Leo Atreides.
Yeah,
But then he
he's-
died, so now he's a skeleton. But he keeps the portal open to the rift, so they got to feed him 1,000 souls a day. It's
Is
kind
this
of
like a
like a
board
mix
game?
between.
Kind
Well,
of.
It's a lot of things. It's like books.
Yeah.
There's a board game, tabletop thing.
They have a risk.
There's video games.
There's a show. I think there's a show coming at some point.
Yeah,
With Henry
Cavill's a
Cavill.
huge
Oh,
Warhammer.
really?
Yeah.
It's
That's
the most
nice.
expensive hobby that exists. It's like if you know how guys used to be, what do you do with $100,000 you don't need? Buy a boat. Now it's like, well, just make an army. The point is, nerds are angry at each other because they give a shit and they're passionate about their hobby, and so they're yelling at each other. Like, get good. It's male camaraderie and competitiveness. Military was the same thing. Everybody was a fucking idiot. But then we go to work, we're having the great old time.
And so the
That's
red
just how
pill
guys
people
are
are
happiest
just
when we're angry at each other. That expectations thing Nuke was talking about.
wait. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you're like, I
guys-
think I've misunderstood men. They're yelling at each other because they want to do better and they're loving every second. I get it now.
Why
Why do you think heavy metal's so much
Yeah,
fun? They're
you're
just
you're not
yelling
you're
all
not
the time.
getting it.
There's
No.
a
I kind of get it, but I kind of don't know if I fully think it's true because it seems like a lot of these men are miserable.
No,
It doesn't
no.
seem
okay,
like they're
so-
enjoying
Look,
themselves.
look. The best way I can make this concrete is that, like, in every single shop I've worked in, guys will relentlessly fuck with each other, like to the point that we have videos of somebody that works next to me screaming, "Go to hell!" and torquing wheels, jumping on top of a torque wrench, screaming at one another because we expect more out of him. And if he cracks, we're gonna fuck with him to keep him cracking. But we do this to one another because we have high expectations of one another. We're working this shitty, miserable job where we're fucking busting our asses working on cars, but we need to know that everybody in the group is reliable and can handle shit. So
No,
we're
but
gonna
I
fucking
saw
hold
this
people to an expectation.
At the
I'll even give you a
sorority, I
better
mean, not at
example,
the sorority, at the strip club where I was like the manager and all the other managers were men, and there was like
Let's go to a
his
strip club.
No, but listen, there was like a hierarchy of men there. Like they were 100%. It was ridiculously political. Like, and the men all like fucked with each other constantly. But I would say that they all seemed fucking miserable. Like they were all like trying to like throw each other. It was like fucking.
Well, those
Game
those
of
aren't
Thrones.
nerds. Those aren't
Yeah,
nerds.
Those aren't
well,
nerds
this is-
either. I'll put it this way.
Neither is what Kyle's
in the military,
talking
like we were deployed, and what one of our friends had done, and he thought it was funny to one of our mess mates, he took his entire uniform and he froze it in a bucket of water. Came back, he couldn't get dressed for work, and when he pulled it out, permanently wrinkled, got yelled at by his chief. Absolutely hilarious. What did he do for revenge? He charged the fire hose, waited till the other guy was in the shower, hit him with a fully charged fire hose. I still have a video of it on my Google Photos. It's funny as hell. Like, that's the kind of stuff we do to each other. Imagine trying to take a shower and then the saltwater hose at like 90 psi is hitting you in the mouth.
I guess that sounds lighthearted, but like I was thinking more of like this
That
like
doesn't sound lighthearted to me.
like it's more lighthearted than like this like Game of Thrones kind of political thing that I've seen at workplaces where like men were like
we're not talking about the
honestly-
strip club though.
Yeah, well, that's something that I can
At
compare it to
Washington,
because it's the way
politics
men
is probably
behave.
very cutthroat and
Yeah.
like cutthroaty and feminist and
Not
crab bucket
feminist.
shit
This
too.
is like men that are
Has anybody?
Well, they have dicks.
Has anybody read or heard of Self-Made Man? Do you know the book I'm talking about?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Rodin sculpture.
Oh, that's yeah. So this is a book by a lesbian woman where she goes undercover as like a guy and lives as a guy for a year and a half and like basically just records her experiences and has that whole thing. It's a really fascinating like account of like her take, and she was like, she's like a kind of like
Yeah,
more
she joined
masculine
like a bowling league and stuff too, wasn't it?
bowling league, joined a monastery, would go dating with like straight women, and did like the aggressive door-to-door sales force, like where they're like hyping each other up and like, you must make this many sales in a day or you're not a man, all that stuff. And so she like writes about all those different like things she did. It was pretty like, it's a really interesting account of like the bowling league accounts were really fascinating, and her accounts of like, she was like blown away by guys constantly, because she was a shit bowler. So she was like, guys were always trying to make her better, even though it was they're making money if they beat her. And they're like, it was fascinating to see that even though they were winning and getting money by beating her, they still wanted her to be better because they wanted to beat her at like, they're like, we want to beat you, but we want you to be your best so that when I beat you, yeah, exactly. And it was all real. It's a really fascinating read.
It's just glazed over.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I feel that way when I'm trying to teach Ben how to play Civ. I'm just trying to get him to get better, but I just keep whooping his ass. It's sad. Yeah,
That's not bad
I get
banter,
it.
actually. That was pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a good nig.
You said that they joined a monastery.
Yeah.
So I have like, what would people do if like the next wave of feminism was just like all these women become super religious and they all join monasteries and they like they just swear off men and like it would be like
did though, didn't they?
No, but now, but it would be like,
rad
but it would be
femmes.
through God though. So it would be like,
Yeah, they're
they'd
kind of
go
doing that
do
now,
it.
aren't they?
Are they?
Well, I just see all these new traditional conservative 28
Yeah.
to 32-year-old women who are looking for a good man to settle down. They've been celibate they've been relationship celibate their whole
Celibate.
life, and they're baking cakes on TikTok. They're doing their little rituals.
Yeah, but
buying
I'm
a
saying like
sundress and
what
a
they
summer hat,
just
taking a photo in a cornfield. All that's missing is the praying and chanting.
This is very, very different than my experience.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying like if would the Christian right be happy about that though? Because that would still not be what they
Never
wanted.
gonna be happy.
Like, that's still not going to be.
They're never
because they're
gonna
like,
be
we need
happy.
women to be chaste and all this stuff. But what if women did that? What if they did? They just were completely modest. They, you
Then
know,
they'd bitch
they
about
all
the
just
Catholics, or the
joined
Catholics would bitch about the
convents.
Orthodox, or they'd bitch about the Anglicans. I don't know if you noticed this, but Christianity as a whole has been built upon hating everything and always being miserable and always being the victim and disenfranchised and nailing yourself to the cross and using that to gain as much as possible. I don't know if you've read your history. And then
now
as
you
soon
gotta
as you
call
disagree
everything
with somebody, you
satanic
make a whole
demonic.
new sect out of it, or a whole new denomination. And now your church has to hate their church. Even America, we're like, hey, you know what we should do? A church, but like Walmart. And then they made those mega churches, and all the other Christians hate those ones. And those Christians hate the Catholics. The Catholics also hate the Catholics, and they hate the Pope. Hey, there's Fuentes.
There's your man. Okay.
Whoa, whoa. We were being fun. Why'd you gotta be all mean and shit? Mr. WKRP in Cincinnati hates the... Yeah, no.
At the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews.
Of course.
So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus's country. This is not the domain of atheists or devil worshippers.
Yes, I really remember Jesus being like, we need to murder all those fucks.
Yeah. Nick
Jesus
Fuentes is some next level shit. I like saw that and I was like, I can't even believe that he literally, that people even fucking listen to him.
Well, like
I can't.
people look at you and I like we got six heads and we're like, hey, maybe this whole like swing back to the religious right. Maybe this isn't gonna go as you guys planned. And
Yeah.
like, no, it's gonna be great. I can't wait for right wing authoritarianism. And then you have this dude. Yeah, we need to call for the death of like all the people who disagree with us.
Just
let's
like
pump
Jesus
the
wanted.
brakes. Yeah, just like Jesus wanted.
I cannot remember there was this pastor in America in like the 1890s or something like that, had the exact same grift. The godless Jew heathens and shit like this was causing the death of thing. And then in the 20s there was another one, and there's always one of these ones. The fire and brimstone, they're all out to get you, the evil demon. And then they're like, here's 50 videos on Puff Daddy and how he's the new Epstein. Like,
Yeah.
it's fear-mongering. It's cheerleading with fear-mongering. It's no different than some feminist bourgeois being like, you know, these men are out to get you. The problem's the men with the little hats. What color of men do you want to hate on today? And
It feels
I mean,
like
it
a lot of
sells because
people.
the kind of person who wants to blame his life on somebody else loves
Yeah.
that shit. They eat it up. Oh, it's not my fault. It's Israel. Oh, thank God. All right, let's yell at them. And then politics is like, dude, if we put these guys in like a January 6th tour and then arrest them, we're gonna get some votes. Biden's gonna win. So everybody wins off of this grift. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean I could think of a more true statement, and it's kind of funny because even the people who are like claiming to be political prisoners, they'll be the ones quickest to grift off that. They'll put their whole story out there, and I don't want to take up too much time with this, but like that Owen Schroyer had he had a deferred prosecution agreement that he agreed to, and basically it literally said in there after he interrupted a Senate hearing, it said don't be an asshole in the Capitol essentially, and you know what he couldn't just not do? He couldn't not go to the Capitol. He had to go to the Capitol and make a scene out of it. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm a political prisoner now."
Yeah.
Is there
nailing yourself to the cross for clout?
Is there a way? Like, I know you can't change, especially people who are already lost in it, and the hate and the misery or any of this fucking shit. But is there a way to like plant a seed to help one out of a fucking 10,000? You know, like turn around and like how
You have to want.
Sure,
Yeah.
but maybe there are people who want it and they're lost, right? So how are those people like? How do you communicate to that?
How do alcoholics stop drinking?
I
They
mean,
hit rock
usually,
bottom.
Yeah, usually there's a rock bottom. So what is the rock
These guys
bottom?
have
for
to
this?
pull a Pat Stedman and on January 6th play to the crowd by talking about, hey, we just broke all these 8 laws, and then go to jail for 6 years. And then when he gets out, hopefully he comes to his senses. By the way, if you guys don't know this guy,
Or
you
he
gotta
starts a
look it up.
podcast.
Oh, I've made ads about him and everything. He's hated.
I have a little clip of him just saying Rollo's a pussy.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Are people learning from him though? Like, do people see
if
him?
they're
Like,
I'm doing here. If you want to, like, if I'm planting a seed for that. So if
Okay.
it happens, I'll let you know.
Sweet.
But even the judge was like, I don't understand. Like, he wasn't even mad. He was just disappointed. You have a good job. You have a brand new family. You got a second kid on the way. Why did you do this? And then, like, at the end, the final ruling was like, here on your tweets, you admitted to fault. It's like the Andrew Tate thing. Here's where you admitted to these federal crimes, 6 years. And it was just like the funniest thing ever. And I should feel bad for him and his family, but I'm like, no, reap what you sow. Or Tate. Do you ever see the live stream he did? Where it's like, he did a live stream on Rumble of him in prison, where he like made a stage like a shitty porno set, and as he and his brother were doing push-ups while a guard was wandering in front of the camera. It was the most. And then apparently like 30,000 people were watching this. So yeah, Rin, you're asking like, how do you go against that?
No, but people love Andrew Tate too. Like, it's insane to
I
me.
know. It makes
I
me
can't
sad.
even
Let him burn.
Yeah, they also
burn.
loved Trump, and they also loved Jordan Peterson, and before that, God knows who. There's these
Jordan Peterson's
terminally
at
online
least
guys who
kind of
want a dad.
smart. Like, I could at least understand Jordan Peterson
all
way more
brand,
than
yeah.
Andrew Tate.
Like
or
Jordan
like-
Peterson 2015, who was the clinical psychologist, or Jordan
Yes.
Peterson 2024, who was basically his daughter wearing him as a skin suit. Like, which Jordan Peterson are we
2015
talking about?
JP is my favorite. Before he got, I liked his old YouTube
Yeah, because he was a
videos.
basic bitch psychologist. And I'm not saying this to shit on him. That's my favorite one too. He was a shrink. He talked to people and he saw problems. And that was the best part about him. And then he got famous and everybody's filling his head with nonsense. And then Daily Wire's like, can I give you money to steal your claim to like
Shtick.
knowing what you're doing? And his daughter's like, hey dad, I need a new set. Can I work with you? And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it. And then his wife almost dies, and then he almost dies, and now he's like, I don't care, just give me the money. Fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
Broke
damn
that
liberals.
man. He's a great example of too much, too fast, too soon, man.
It's so sad.
And all these guys, like, he's my dad. He's the greatest thing ever. And they built him up, and then they tore him down. Now he's a drug-using, godless heathen. And then they
I
did
mean,
that
people
to
are
Andrew.
still
He's going to go
obsessed
to
with
jail,
him.
and they're going to hate him next.
You think people will? I think people think he's a martyr. Like, people are trying to martyrize him. They're trying to turn him into the next coming of Christ. Like,
Peterson
Because
was the
that's
next
his
coming
grip.
of Christ.
Yeah,
Do you know how
because
many photos there are of like Peterson with the fucking Catholic candle look?
he's not even religious.
Neither's Tate. Do you think
I
he's
know.
Muslim?
Well,
Do
he says
Muslims
he's
often
Muslim.
smoke cigars and drink whiskey while talking about bitches? Or Hulk Hogan
Well-
with a dick? No. It's all kayfabe. It's all fake. And then as soon as they're done with him, they're going to throw him away.
I
mean, it'd be the worst
I
thing
did
ever,
meet
too.
some. I met some fun Muslim sinners in Morocco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in Saudi Arabia, like, for sure, like, actually the strippers told me this, that they used to go to Saudi and the guys would do like really degenerate shit to them because they don't do it to Muslim women, they do it to white women. So like
Yeah, Madonna
shitting
whore
on them
complex
and
stuff.
shit, like really fucked up shit. Like, they would just fly out, they'd give them so much money and they'd fly out these like just, you know, American women to do like absolutely horrendous things to them because they would never do that to like Muslim, to like their own women. And so like they can do that stuff. They just
Yeah.
can't do
But
it
they do
with
that there too. Here's
their
the thing.
women.
We have some Saudi guys in the RAR squad. And they show us this stuff all the time. Those girls are doing just the same stuff. The only
Yep.
difference is they're doing it for free and they're doing it behind their husbands' backs. So it's like women are just women.
I mean,
Degenerate, filthy
I don't.
creatures, and it's God bless them for it.
Yeah, I don't even think that. Like, I remember being around a fucking group of like a bunch of guys at a table, and my younger brother and I were there, and people were like, you know, oh, what filthy thing would, like, oh, I would never do that filthy and I was like, you've never been poor, because my brother and I looked at each other and it was like that, like
Poor
they're like,
or bored.
they're like, I would never for $1 million, and I'm like, dude, that you're way off with the number. Like, I don't know, what to like that's once you get to a few $1,000s, you start thinking about it. And then once it's 5 figures, you're just like, yeah,
Are
of
you
course
mad
I'll-
at your dad? Are you hard up for cash? Are you really bored in your marriage? Did Steve Harvey just not emotionally support for you? Fuck it. Do it. Right in the pooper. Why not?
Oh, I had to bring this lady up.
Oh, the Born Again Only fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you
Born
retweeted
Again
this.
again?
Yeah, she's.
And I have been
Have you,
feeling-
wait, Rin, did you see the video of her on whatever podcast I don't remember if I showed that on here. The like.
No,
she
you got
was
to give me
the-
context.
Was
She's
that the one with their tits hanging out?
She's the
Talking about how
Ayago
men need to do
girl.
better?
She does. Yes, she's like talks about how she loves to cheat on men. I feel like we did go show it on here. It was like,
I mean, you've seen one, you've seen them all. Come on.
yeah, she talks about like how she like loves cheating and like she's just like basically it was
Hey.
really it was an act though.
She's
the whole
fucking
thing was
crazy.
an act.
Just say
Brandy.
she's fucking nuts.
Yes.
Did you ever watch that Simpsons, Brandy, where Homer made the makeup gun and Marge said he said it to whore?
No.
I don't know why I'm thinking of that right now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No judgment.
And I have been feeling convicted because there's in Psalms 139, I can't quote the scripture directly, but it's talking about asking God directly, God, where am I falling short? God, tell me my sins. God, like, please open and reveal these things in my life so that I can get rid of them to serve you better. It's about fixing what's in here before you go out there. Okay. So this is what God's been laying on my heart lately. So, you know, I'm a female. I bought a lot of clothes and all this crap. It's truly crap, by the way. Materialistic things are just crap. So God has been laying on my heart that I need to be more modest, okay? And that is literally like to be able to find your future husband and truly like not tempt others with your body or with anything else. God is telling me, hey, Nala, you need to be more modest, okay?
I feel
So
like
was
nobody
okay,
knows what the
God,
word
what is
modest
it that I
means.
can do to become more modest? So I have bagged up. There's like so many more
I
downstairs.
can't help but think God
I
would
have
mention something
bagged
about the
up
whoring.
all of my clothes, not all of them, but like anything that I felt that might be lustful or immodest, and bagged it up. I'm throwing it away. I don't care. I have given away all of my designer things. I don't own one designer thing right now. I've kept a couple sentimental things, but that is truly because they were just gifts. But God is truly like speaking to me and telling me like, hey, this is your wickedness right here. And I need you to take care of it for me so that I can plant my seed in you and so that you can go out into the world and be a true soldier for Christ.
I can't like this is it. I hate to say like I hate to be like I don't feel like she's being genuine because it's like
Seems like a good pivot.
People
Seems like a
can
good pivot.
convert.
Why would she not be
People
genuine?
can convert. People can convert, but like there
Can
is
they?
something that doesn't feel genuine.
But I mean, it's not fair to the customers if she cancels her OnlyFans before the end of the month or restarts it again in March.
Oh,
So I mean,
God.
you know, like Jesus wants to provide, but you know, it's still got to
I
pay
mean,
rent.
it's also
Supply
this-
side Jesus.
Yeah.
I would actually be more likely to believe her if she didn't keep doing these videos.
Really?
If she just stopped doing these videos, if she just like was like deleted
Gets- it
everything
get-
and
what-
like
what-
took time to like
So if she didn't pray out in public openly for praise,
yes.
I almost think there's a passage on that. Is anybody here?
Yes,
like, good
there
with the
is a
book?
Bible. There's a Bible verse about
Yeah,
that.
I know.
But wait,
Eye of
but
the
the-
needle, praying in public, all that stuff.
What about? But that's prayer too. But all right, look, real random question: if there was like another like Messiah that shows up, you know, wouldn't they want to use social media to spread the good word?
Do you think Jesus would be an influencer?
I mean, if he could,
you know what, dude? This
I
is
don't
my
know about
problem with
that.
that fucking sovereign brand, dude, who just always everything.
Oh, is
that
that
he
pocket
says,
pussy guy?
Yeah, pocket pussy guy who blocked me after I kept saying he fucked the sex doll and the pocket pussy.
Dude, he doesn't like me.
Oh no, he don't like me either.
He hates
so
my
I-
memes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty sure I shared a couple.
I think he and I are still
But,
cool.
like,
I guess.
Yeah,
but,
well,
like,
him. I just take pictures of the chicks with the tits hanging out on his cast and like Christ is King, join your local church. And then I did
Yeah.
one with a pocket pussy attached, and that's when he blocked me. Because you know, sex dolls are fine, but I draw the line at the pocket. They don't waste the whole girl. None of this pieces of it and throw out the rest.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is that like he's your perfect example of like a televangelist where you know he goes on all these podcasts and then advertises, you know, oh well Christ is king and you know look at me how great I am. And then literally he'll tell this long ass story about, you know, oh well, you know, I met this wonderful traditional girl and then right in the next tweet it says join my dating network so that way you can find your trad wife. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
At
he
least-
dates like that's the funniest thing. That's why they keep going after red pill dudes. It's because they need a villain and an out group for their new product. And Date Psych's one is like the scientifically approved method for atheists to find women based on charts and statistics. And his is like the biblical way to find women. It's all just OnlyFans with different flavors. It's the Coke and Pepsi wars.
Oh my god.
And they all blame the red pill dudes because we're an easy villain. And I don't blame them because Fresh is really making everybody look bad.
But I
Like,
thought
really
the Whatever
is.
podcast is kind of like a red pill.
They're Fresh and Fit Ohio.
Yeah.
That's what I've called it.
It's fair.
Because like the demographic that likes Myron stuff, they're more urban. We need somebody who's more rural, you know, more heartlandish. What are the euphemisms you want to use for white people?
Just say he looks like he would probably drop a hard R every here and there.
Yeah, exactly. It's the WCW to the WWF. It's the Pepsi to Coke. It's the taste of a new generation. It's just some dumb shit. And it goes, what are those guys? They ran a prank channel, didn't they? The fuck do they know
Yeah,
about dating?
there was a prank channel. Well, I'm pretty sure that Brian he must have read Rolo
Is
or
Brian
something.
the goofy nerdy one?
Yeah, he must
He's
have
the
read Rolo
host.
or something because he talks about like hypergamy and oh wait, Rolo was on the Whatever podcast. Of course, he must know Rolo.
Yeah, he knows. They talk. Rolo's kind of
So-
like, dude, I love this about him. It's that he's put in work over 20 years. He was doing this back when nobody made any money. Rational Mail, a lot of good work. A lot of people built off it. Absolutely. Street cred is there. The work is there. And at this point, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Everybody's been calling me an asshole and doxing my family for years. I'm going to get mine. And for all the people that grift, he's the one guy I'm like, he fucking earned it, man. Get on that Whatever podcast. You kick those hoes off. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like Peter. He and Peterson have that very similar thread of like, you know what? Fuck you people. I'm getting paid. I've done enough. I've given you my pound of flesh, and bless them for it.
The vasectomy tweet was the what was the beginner of that whole song.
Oh, I love his one today where it's like, hey, that doesn't sound so bad now, does it? I was like, oh, right in the Walter. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, because
Yeah.
he's friends with Myron too, right?
Here's the worst part is that he kind of like Tate got his start because Rolo kind of helped him out because he's very
Wait,
giving
Tate?
that way. Tate too, yeah.
What?
Where do you think that clip came from? That was when Tate first got started,
Oh my
and then
god.
he started talking to all the people in the Manosphere. That was because he had just gone on with Rule Zero, and I was the only one who didn't buy into his bullshit immediately, and so he hated me ever since.
Okay, so Ryan, I kind of want your opinion on this because, like,
No, you
I know, but you know,
don't.
like,
I don't like it.
I would love to ask.
What are we
Rolo
talking about?
this. Yeah, well, so basically, like, you know, it's weird because Rolo kind of lifted up all these people, and now, you know, he.
Oh, and
you
they
said
sent
it
him under the bus
before.
first time they got any clout.
Well, yeah,
I just made
you
my
say-
first $3,000 super chat. Fuck this Rolo guy.
He's very blue pilled when it comes to guys, but he's very red pill when it comes to women. So it's kind of like I would love to ask him, and I probably should have when he was on here, but like, how do you reconcile the fact that you raised the profile of Fresh and Fit, and then they in turn raised the profile of Andrew Tate, Destiny, Sneeko, Zerka, all these fucking clowns? It's, you know,
Not my brother's keeper. You can ask
Yeah.
him. We're all in the same chat. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's one of these things. Like, if you knew now what you knew then, would you make different choices? Like, who's gonna answer that regret questions? Like,
I actually
well,
didn't
if I
know
was
that-
where I was now, I wouldn't be there doing the things that I did. Sure, but
Right.
that's not how life
Yeah.
works. And to be
Hindsight
fair,
2020.
like social media branding, it is a lot of fighting with pigs in the mud to get ahead. So
Yeah.
like everybody's gonna get a little dirty. As much as I like to throw shit from afar, I've been on the cast with Myron, calling him an idiot. I haven't been on his show. I've had him there with me and Tate talking. Like, there's always gonna be me with Savvy Writes Books, that big boobed chick who hated men or whatever, and
Erudite.
Emily Feminist or Erudite. Oh fuck my god! I've never ever hated a live stream until that fucking Erudite chick started. Like, it's like Destiny. It's like that annoyance. You know, talk fast and say some shit. Look up to the left because you're thinking on the spot of what you want to do, and you're not talking to a person. You're talking to. I fucking hate it, man. That's why I like you guys. I know I'm taking over. Sorry, I don't mean to monopolize this.
No,
No, we like when you're on. We have a good time.
Yeah.
But like, see, I talk with you, Rin, and your guy. I can see like behind the eyes. There's shit there. Brandy,
I see light
mostly.
behind.
Yeah, and when you smile, I see like your eyes smile with your face. Like that means you're really smiling. You're not just like gotta look good for the camera.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know more about my drunken party life than anybody. So there's trust there. There's trust. I see this with these people, and it's fucking annoying.
Yeah, like inauthenticity.
Not authenticity, sincerity.
You're talking to a brand. You're not talking to a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the worst part is because the whole
people
point of
have a
being
persona.
an influencer is you're supposed to not be a brand. People hate brands. And so they talk to real people. But then real people start acting like brands, except for you're not as good. It's like trying to pretend to be Pepsi when you're not Pepsi. You're just some asshole from Ohio yelling at
for a
women with
brand.
a sex doll beside you and the Kaiser, little Asian Kaiser girl, with the fucking hat.
I'm real excited to go soulless once I find a brand I can sell out to. But, you know.
I mean,
But
I
see what
fucking
Like, see what I
hate
mean? That
that.
was the point. Like Peterson sold out brand,
Yeah.
all brand, but he did a bunch of work to get there first. It's like, all right, I'm going out to pasture, selling out. Rolo, same thing. 20 years of work, great job, selling out a little bit. That's great. But these guys are like trying to sell out on week 7. You know what I mean?
Seems like the move, right? If you can pull it off, more
like
power
those-
to you, I guess.
You know those videos of college kids that are at Starbucks on their first shift fucking crying? I should have been a CEO.
Yes.
I just graduated last week. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what I look at these people like. And it's ridiculous. And I get it. I'm just as bad. I'm on here sending Goatsy on Twitter to build my brand. But fuck, at least I'm self-aware enough to know. I'll tell
See,
you.
that's it. Know thyself.
No, but
This
that's
is like-
that's the culture right now. We will accept any bullshit from people who are self-aware. So it's like right now it's very keen to be
That's like Joe
self-aware.
Rogan's whole shtick, I think. That's why Joe Rogan's so popular, is because he's like, I'm an idiot. I
Yeah.
admit it to it. I
But he's
say
not an
stupid
idiot, though.
shit. I
He's
know.
smart as shit. You could tell.
But that's what
Comedians have
dumb.
to think on the. But he's
But
good
you-
at playing it.
Right, but you can be smart and dumb at the same time because the
Yeah.
language
Okay.
is just
Well, but yeah, I mean, like you can admit that like there's certain things that you're incredibly smart about, and then there's things that like you'd be a complete and total fucking retard in.
Oh yeah, my Warhammer knowledge is not up to par. I know enough from like YouTube research. That's it. But I will come on here and start talking about Warhammer like I know what the fuck's up.
And
but I don't.
make me feel like an idiot because I didn't know what it was.
Exactly. But you get some nerd on here with the 2,000 point Terran army, they're gonna make me look dumb as shit. But I won't talk with those guys. That's gonna ruin. It'll ruin.
So basically,
the
you're
brand.
saying there's going to be no Warhammer for pennies.
No, there won't be. I'll be the pennies. I actually am good at Tekken. That's the thing. That's the difference.
I gotta
Okay.
play. We gotta play Tekken together. I've gotta.
Anybody good at
you're
Smash?
whoop my ass, but
Or are you talking like Super Smash?
yeah.
I haven't
Oh
played
my
it since
god!
college.
Let's go.
I got a
Let's
64 in my living room with fucking 4 controllers and nobody
Let's
plays
If
me
I,
anymore.
if I find
Go.
out you got some like tech skill, like I've seen the speedrunners talk about that and like the competitive guys. Dude, they have like some Korean reflex level requirements for Smash.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
like re-soldered. They actually have. There's guys that the N64 controller.
Yeah.
I guess the optical control for the thumbstick is different than all other controllers, and so that's it. They're not making them anymore. So there's people machining metal
keep them
parts
going?
to keep them going, and they have to like buy old controllers to take the electronics, then put the metal parts onto it. And there's been a bunch of scams on it. There's like 600 of these controllers left, and people are on streams begging people for a copy, just for that extra ounce of longevity. Because then when the controller breaks a little bit too much, then their speed runs are ruined and Smash things
wild.
are ruined.
My brother has
still
like
have
3 or 4 of those actually.
Dude, put them
I'm
up.
telling you, go look at this controller market. If you have one in the box, like at that point, you can name your price. It's
Wow.
insane.
Holy shit. Yeah.
And the metal, look for the metal thumbstick part. There has been 3 scams that people just because and it wasn't even that they scammed, it's that it's too hard to machine thousands of these parts. People with metal lathes, and you've seen like metal workers, like real professionals, and they're trying to do these things just proper. It's insane.
That's fantastic.
So,
And it's
when you
wild.
say let's play Smash, I have a feeling it's like The Color of Money, where it's like, you want to play pool? I kind of know what I'm doing, and then all of a
So-
sudden Tom Cruise is coming.
so wait,
in
this
with
is the
fucking
problem.
Doom.
People need more hobbies. We need
Oh,
to
this
give
is-
people more hobbies.
These people
mean-
used to ride the space shuttle or figure out rocket technology in Germany. Now they're on speedrunnerarchive.com. It's crazy.
I am trying to push people getting back to the long range radio hobby thing where people will just like communicate over because I think that's
like
a
ham
use-
radios? Hey,
Yeah, ham
doesn't Report of the Week do that? In between
want a
his
ham
secondary
radio.
hobby of fast food reviews?
Dude, Brandy, if you want to get into it, I'll go through the whole licensing process with you, and
There's a licensing process.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's technically
their rights.
controlled by the military, so you have to get a.
I just want it for the impending apocalypse.
Right. Well, so I want people to be able to send me news when I'm out sailing, and so
Yeah.
I just need because
You
right
better
now
have good
all-
radio procedure. You don't
all
call,
the-
you
I'm
don't call
down.
VF traffic and not know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
You don't
but
end your
it's
communications on over, they'll get pissed. This isn't Saudi Arabia. This isn't a Filipino monkey spamming
Well,
the
Ben
airwaves.
says he already has a ham
Wait,
radio.
you have
We're
one,
good.
or do you use it, or you just have like the hardware?
Which
I didn't even know.
No, sorry, in the
Ben.
comments.
I didn't even know. Apparently, we have one. I was unaware.
Dude, it's such good tech, and I'm like so terrified of it like dying and going away.
It'll be fine. We still use that on the ship because the HF, you can bounce your signal off the ionosphere and technically reach the other half of the globe. You can't do that with straight communications without satellites.
Yeah. So I'm as somebody who wants to do long range sailing, I'm big on. Like, I want more people to be able to like give me fucking news and shit.
Dude, you know the funny thing about that? So you know F1 and F2, they combine in the evening, right? And so you want to switch to I think it's higher frequencies at night and lower frequencies in the morning, or backwards maybe. It's been a while.
Lower frequency for
yeah. On Vancouver Island, it's technically the opposite because the way, I don't know what it has to do. It's something to do with the tectonic plate underneath there. The ground wave actually carries further than the sky wave at night.
Oh, that's
so you
cool.
actually get further ahead using like the early morning frequencies.
That's
it's
fun.
The weirdest thing. So yeah, when you get down to Seattle, that's something to know. At least until you get off of the Straits of Juan de Fuca. What is this?
Okay, well, this is what we're gonna close on because it's white pilled, and I agree with it. And I don't know. Kyle is gonna know who Nick Gillespie is.
I know. Yeah.
I like Nick Gillespie,
He's
but
okay.
Libertarians have their mixed bag with him, but
He's like a progressive libertarian, but he's all right.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
But this is for like, we're talking about how shitty society is or culture or whatever. But
so he's fear mongering.
or
but
what
he's
people?
the
No,
Pepsi
no,
if
no,
you
no.
like.
No,
He's
listen.
You
This is
know,
not
this
fear
is a
mongering.
great time to be alive. You're more likely to live longer. You have more individual freedom. You have more cultural freedom. The whole world, all the culture of the world ever created is at your fingertips. We need to start selling that, then explain how that happened and how we supercharge that and how we bring that to everybody else and how you will be able to find individual meaning the minute that you are willing and able to create it on your own with the people around you. You know what? This is a great time.
Because
How
I feel
Nietzsche
like
of him.
everyone is so fucking black pilled, but we really are living in my opinion, it's the best time ever to be alive. And even when I joke about impending apocalypse and all this bullshit, like I genuinely do believe that. I don't
Nietzsche.
think
That's the last.
Yeah.
Or it's the Ubermensch is what he's talking about.
The Ubermensch.
Yeah, like
Wait,
how
can-
everybody always talks about the nihilism. Oh, God is
Mhm.
dead.
Mhm.
They never finish off the sentence. It's God is dead. We killed him. And then if you get to the second half of the Spake Zarathustra, it's about what do you replace him with, and you
Mhm.
individually get to choose. Was the idea
Yeah.
of it? It's
Mhm.
actually the positive outlook of it, but nobody makes it that far in the book because it's a very dense read and it's in German.
Thus, Zarathustra is actually like the kind of book that encourages you to rise to your best self through like nihilism. It's actually a really good philosophical book with some weird takes.
He's better than Evola. Way better than Evola with that aristocrat of the soul bullshit. I don't even know Evola. I just know anybody who talks about liking Evola is usually a piece of shit.
Wait, Evola, Julius Evola?
No, his brother, Stephen. Yes. Julius.
Yes. Yes, obviously he's like I've actually read his books. Isn't he like this
I don't know. I don't really care about him.
fascist?
Yeah, but Italian. That doesn't really count.
Like Italian fascist? Nobody like was though.
Italian
Like,
fascist. That's like saying, that's like the New Jersey guy and the thing there. It's like, really? Come on.
I mean, he was pretty racist, but
I mean, I only know
Italian
Nietzsche. Yeah, I only know Nietzsche, so I don't know the. Whoever the fuck
I
this
don't know
other
much
dude
about
is.
him. I just know everybody who's told me to. It's like Dianetics. Everybody who's told me to read Dianetics has made me not want to read Dianetics. For
Okay,
obvious
what's
reasons.
Dianetics?
That's the Scientology one. That's the Hubbard book.
Okay.
It's you know that red pill thing about you must put this bucket on your head right now.
You know what's funny? I actually just listened to your audiobook on my way home from work, Frame, and yeah, I just listened to that chapter.
Yeah, that's exactly what that stuff is about. You got to put this bucket on your head right now. As soon as you put the bucket on, you're gonna have great
Everything's gonna
joy,
be
great
good.
happiness, whatever.
Yes.
You can't look at the bucket. You just have to put it on out of faith. And usually, if you don't know, like I can't make that decision. I don't have enough information. So you just, who's telling me to put it on their head? Did they achieve what they're saying? And more often than not, it's not. Like all these Christian guys talk about the revival of it. They're not living their life. Steven Crowder. Do you want to put Steven Crowder's bucket on your head? What just happened to him? First off, it's got dog shit on the floor and his wife left.
So
That's
the trick
two.
is the trick is to put as many buckets on as you can, and then you look
Yeah.
sophisticated. Then you look
Well, yeah, no,
sophisticated.
I love that. I love that saying because, like, I've been talking to a lot of religious people on my main podcast a lot recently, and like, I really want to know more about religion, but it always kind of almost comes down to exactly that of like, put this bucket on your head. I know you don't believe, but like, here's why I feel, and that's what they always get to. Eventually, it always comes down to I feel that my orientation towards God is the best, and like, I'm sure they genuinely feel that. But that does fuck all.
Yeah,
to
they're definitely
convince
not
me.
trying to convince themselves by talking to you and proselytizing.
I just say
Definitely.
seek God yourself and like fuck all the like dogma, the
Yeah.
denominations and all the
Well,
bullshit.
this isn't about you
But
because you're reasonable and you have
Yeah.
agency and you're not a girl, but you're not trans either.
You're not a girl, but you're not trans.
That's why I said Matt Walsh is confused with you. He keeps asking questions. He never gets the answers he's looking for.
The fuck? It's actually funny because in college, the frat guys used to call me a cool dude with long hair.
That
So
makes
I
sense.
guess this actually has been
Are you coming out as
discussed before.
trans? Are you coming out
No,
as trans?
Spiritually.
spiritually, I'm spiritually a man.
Is that
I
hair
don't know.
real?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. It does look nice though. So.
Thank you. If I was a trans woman, I would.
Dude, you would
did
crush it in
good
the
work.
400 meter.
Do good work. Dude, I would be a really short dude because I'm like 5'1".
I love, by the way, can I just say, I love this whole turf trans battle. I think it's great. All these people that have been shitting on men for like 40 years now of like, wait a minute, let's fight with each other. And I'm here for it. Get out of our bathrooms. Guys, help us. No.
Because
You
the
guys
rad
started
femme?
the shit show. You fix it yourself.
Yeah, you wedged into everything we had. Now you can have some women plus action for a while.
I just learned what a swerf was.
There's- a what?
A swerf. There's
Is
like
that like the
turfs
blue
and
guys with the hats?
No, it's sex worker exclusionary
Radical
So radical femme
feminist.
saying that sex
so
workers
that they
aren't
exclude sex workers. Yeah, it's
as
swerfs.
so sex workers aren't feminists or sex workers aren't
Se-
women.
No,
They're-
they're
they're against sex work.
worker exclusionary radical.
Yeah,
No,
feminists.
they're against sex workers.
Okay.
So it's like it's part of the turf thing.
So married feminists.
Most turfs, rad femmes are almost always against sex work, and they're almost
They seem to be
they're
against
always
pleasant
against-
conversation too. What is up with
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
That Rad Femme
I've been
Hitler, she got
trying to get
so
one
mad at the
on
idea
here.
of coffee dates, like, which fine, you don't have to like it, but she got mad to the level of like, did a coffee date touch you when you were a kid?
Show
You know what
us
I mean?
on the doll.
Yeah.
I tried to have her on and she bailed. And
I know. I was
probably
excited.
'cause
I was talking to I was talking to Ryan about that when it happened.
I was
Probably
sad.
because I'm sorry. I've closed many doors with retards with you, and I apologize. Had I known, I would have brought one of them Kanye masks in here.
Yeah.
No, well, I get blocked by red femmes pretty quickly. So
You gotta
I'm
stop
having-
tweeting before they come on the show. You gotta take a fucking. You really gotta just take a day break, like the day of. Just be like, I'm gonna fucking.
I know.
Or at
Well,
least
I
give them a heads up. I'm gonna tweet some stuff that's argumentative. It's just bait. It's just building brand.
Yeah,
don't take it
yeah,
personal.
yeah.
You let them
Don't
know it's a
get mad at
game.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like someone like Rad Femme Hitler would understand that.
It's
That's
weird how she's not a
literally-
reasonable person. This Rad Femme Hitler.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody that would name themselves after Hitler wouldn't be a reasonable person.
Yeah.
I know. I do think she's kind of funny sometimes, though. I will give her credit. Sometimes
in a
she like
mean-spirited way, yes.
Yes,
And to
yeah.
be fair, I can't judge somebody for that. I just talked about how great Royce was, and he had
Yeah.
like the why every woman in every age bracket is a piece of shit. So I get it.
yeah.
Well,
it's-
okay. Well, didn't Royce also put out a article saying like that rape should be okay within
That was
your own
Roosh.
home?
That was his
That was
modest
Roosh?
proposal.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And he
Yeah.
did the cardinal sin on the internet. He used satire. Never use satire because it's full of autists that don't get it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he used Jane Austen. Like, how do girls not know that's Jane Austen? Like, really?
Wait, what? For
It
what?
was the Jane Austen thing about eating children as a solution for what was
Modest
it? Like,
proposal. Yeah,
that-
so
yeah,
it's
modest
like
proposal.
The Irish famine.
Yeah, for the Irish famine. So we did the same thing with grapes, saying you should be allowed to on private property, which forces women to be more, careful and have
Careful.
agency. And then everybody got mad at him because he said the R word. And back then, that's how you make a brand for yourself, by getting mad at the Arab man, because it was the 2000s. We lost some buildings, a little bit of sentiment, a little bit of riled up stuff. You know how it works. But he was Iranian, but they don't know the difference. He bombed the wrong country.
Oh my fucking god, I love you. Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact, by the way, speaking of Radfem Hitler, did you know Iran, the reason they called it Iran was because they wanted it to be a derivative of Aryan to impress the Germans. I didn't know that until Zoomer Historian had talked about how he wasn't such a bad guy, and I was like, oh, okay. The Iran thing makes sense. Huh.
What?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why they called it Iran, because it used to be the Persian Empire. But they didn't want to call it Persia. They called it Iran because it's where the original Aryans were supposedly from. So it was their way of getting in Germany's good books.
That's when it happened during that time period?
Well, yeah, if you look up...
Yeah, the Persian Empire. I have a map in my hallway that still has it. It's only in the 1900s with it.
I love old maps like that. Those are awesome.
Oh, dude, it doesn't even have the borders of Greenland drawn. It's just like a line. It's my
Iran,
my prized possession.
Wait, so
Iran? No, Iran. Yeah,
bang.
Iran. Iran
there's
became
no
Iran
Pakistan.
in
It's just big India, British India,
Yeah.
or whatever.
So wait, then Iran changed their name in 1979. So, but that was because they wanted to say that they were like where the Aryans are
Let me look at
from.
this up here.
It would have been.
I literally just Googled it. When did Iran become Iran? It said 1979, but it said something about like 1959 too.
That's probably when it became like its own. Like the borders got drawn, not the naming
that
of
makes
the.
more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, King of the
Wait,
Aryans.
is this why all the weird anti-Jew people on Twitter are all like, we must bond with the Muslims?
I've never seen any of that.
I can't
What?
even understand that stuff. It's so... There's like 3,000 years of blood feud of like 50 different versions of it, and I can't keep up with it. I really can't. And I'm like, I got better things to do.
Just go full JQ. The J's are responsible for everything.
Dude, you know what? I went on a rabbit
serious.
hole yesterday, and I was just looking because someone when I posted about birth control, someone was like, "This is a Jew subversion," and then I looked it up because I was like, "What are the chances that the Jew invented birth control?" And then I looked it up, and a Jew did invent birth control, and so then, but then I was like, "God, the Jews have invented everything." So then I went on this deep rabbit hole of what the Jews invented. They invented chemotherapy, genes, the internet, everything.
Like blue jeans?
Jeans. Look it up, dude. Look it up.
I thought the French invented denim. Oh, but they put it into pant form.
Pants.
All right, that's...
Dude, the list is so long. I got to the plastic surgery. First fucking plastic surgeon was Jewish.
Yeah,
I was
fractional reserve banking. I know where you're going with this.
Start doing one of these.
No, I'm saying this is a good thing. I'm like, they created a lot of good shit. I feel like because
they're really gonna start calling you a Jew now.
They're the most innovative minority.
I gotta go grab the trash, guys.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting canceled now, Brady. You gotta end the fucking stream.
No, I think this is the opposite.
Before someone comes knocking on the door.
Harassed, not canceled. You either get harassed or canceled, depending on which side you are in the JQ.
They're the most innovative minority on the planet, and that's a fact, guys.
You know why? Eugenics.
Wait, they just got that special bloodline, makes them smarter than everyone?
Well, no, it's just, I mean, they have selective, because this is going to sound horrible, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Let's say you were a mid potential person of the faith in Germany, 1920. And let's say you were a really smart, gifted, forward-thinking person of the faith in 1928. Which one of you is more likely to move to America?
Smart one.
Probably. And then what happens to the not as smart one? Let's fast forward a couple years, maybe 1943, 44. Or maybe you're not that smart. You're like, you know what? I'll just move over to Poland, live with my uncle. But you see what I mean? There's a bit of a selective pressure there.
Jesus
Christ. Okay.
Now, and I know this sounds bad. And I know this is
How did we
by the
get
smile
here?
on my face that I really don't care.
I love this so much.
But there's so many stories of people going to war against them. You got to think that's a selective pressure.
109 times to be exact.
I don't believe any of this, but it really sounds like, wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking it. He said it. No, relax, guys. I don't fucking know.
Oh my god.
Like I said, I've just learned about the holidays last month. I don't know anything about the faith. I don't know what I'm talking about. But you guys were all staring there, pretending to listen and like.
I was trying to, because one, it would make sense.
Yeah, you had your hand on the end stream button. As soon as he says anything about Germany, I gotta go.
Seems a bit high.
The little mustache man in the wooden doors.
Yeah.
Well,
See,
we
it was
landed
tuberculosis, and the numbers. There's only 6 numbers on the like. Oh my god, he went there.
And this is where we ended up on. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good note to end on, I guess.
This is satire. This is not to be taken seriously.
It's mine.
This is a lighthearted joke because I was sick and tired of talking about Fresh Fit and that big goofy redhead bitch Pearl. We thought it'd be nice to end it off on a light note.
Pearl.
Why?
I got a screenshot of something that someone sent over in our chat, Ryan.
I did end with Nick Gillespie. You missed it. You missed it.
Yeah. You know the worst part about
And
Pearl?
somehow we got onto
she
the
Me Too'd her
Jews. I don't
volleyball
know.
coach. You know that? She had a big video she put out on it where her volleyball coach
Oh, yeah.
that she trained, and then she went off to college, and then she hated her dad. She came back from college, and the coach hit on her, and she's like, thank you, no, because the coach did it horribly. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to get him fired. Fuck it. And then she went on there and told this great story about this, and then she goes on to Twitter like 2 weeks later talking about these Me Too girls are all lying bitches, which, to be fair, it sounds like she's the subject matter expert. And so somebody sent me the original video, and I usually do what I normally do. Hey, somebody's being an asshole. I'll make an advertisement for my podcast on it. I edited that 5 times, and there was no way to do it without, like, to make it funny. There was no way to not have it sound horrific. And that's how bad it is. I made Andrew Tate look like a fucking comedian, and I could not doll Pearl up with that stupid story. And so now it's sitting there, 5 edited versions of a video that all are just different versions of tragic.
Wait, so is it sad because it's like it's like a sad thing that happened to
Like,
her?
it's
or-
mean-spirited. You know this? Like, somebody's a fucking idiot, but that's funny. Oh, it's a funny, catchy words, really halting. But there's no way to make it funny. There's no humor in it. It's just sad and tragic. And it's like she ruined a guy's life for not having game and daring to hit on a young woman after she became legal and all that stuff, which isn't that what everybody wants? To guys to stop hitting on underage girls. So we waited till she was of age. Like, what more do you want from them? Well, I mean, other than his job.
Yeah, well.
And then she admitted her whole reason she does this is because when she went to school for marketing and advertising and shit, is that the big firms wouldn't hire her. And so she's trying to teach them a lesson. She was bragging about this, then deleted that. And I was like, you fuck goofy, gummy ass bitch.
Oh,
And the worst part is all these people hate Pearl now because it's like the cool thing to do. And it's like, no, you're not even hating her right. All they do is they bring up, look at this guy she dated. He's a dark-skinned fellow. What a whore. And I'm like, it's like the Tate hate. It's like you guys could do so much better. And I just hate the haters. And now it's making it like, I don't even want to hate on her because everybody's doing it.
I mean, I think that it's easy to hate on her when you see like where her trajectory has been. Like the fact that she, like, have you seen her videos before she started doing this kind
That's
of?
the only video I've ever watched of her was her when she admitted to getting the coach fired for having the audacity to hit on her.
Well, like the content she made before she started doing like this kind of red.
Like I knew she yelled at fat black ladies a lot.
No, before that, it was just like her doing like day in the life kind of stuff. She would like show her house because her parents are really rich, and she would just like they had like these like a what was it, like a water slide, and she'd like just show off like her rich house videos. So I mean, she was like trying to get famous for a very long time and doing different trends. And the red pill thing just
women was the way she got in, and now she's like, I'm on top of the world, ma.
Like, yeah, I think like shitting on women seems to really work. To be honest,
Shocker. You know the worst part? It's guys aren't even driving that. It's women.
You
Women
think?
love it. It's
I don't think
indignation.
that's-
Oh, women drive all economics. Don't kid yourself. You guys.
You
guys-
think women are driving the I hate women stuff? I don't know
How
if
does
I.
engagement
The
work
Real Housewives is a
Yeah.
pretty good example.
Do you
of
think
that.
girls like the Real Housewives? Their positive image? No, it's a bunch of angry rich bitches yelling at each other, and every girl's like, "I'm fucking here for it."
Well,
And
yeah,
then
but
here, buy the Nissan Sentra, buy the Tesla. It's the
Mhm.
same thing. It's just like a cheaper version of it. It's the
Doesn't cost
RC
you
Cola
anything
of the Coke
to-
and Pepsi wars.
It doesn't
She
cost
is
you
to
anything
love-
to spurg out about Pill. or
Love is
Pearl.
Blind, another great example. Do you see any one of those girls as being a catch? None. The hottest girl there was the single mom that none of the guys wanted. And every girl was like, good, fuck that bitch. Too hot anyway. And then the other one was like a T-Rex girl with an alcohol problem. And everybody's watching her religiously. I love watching this girl ruin her fucking life. This is great.
Wait, but that's not the wait. So you're saying that that's where like the
I'm
I
saying
hate
that
women
girls
stuff
love to
stems-
live vicariously through the misery of other women, of other horrible women. And Pearl is another example of that. Every girl loved, I get to hate on this bitch. It's perfect.
I don't understand that. Like, I guess maybe that's true, but I don't like that, so I don't get why.
Yeah, but then we can come back.
No,
You're
I
only
know.
helping
So I'm
Ryan's
like,
argument.
is this true?
That's it.
I get it. You're 5'8". I get it.
We're good.
I'm like, God damn it.
There
All
we go,
right.
full circle. We're 5'8".
Do you not have a female friend? Like, do you
Yeah.
not have one basic bitch girlfriend?
None
That's a
of
no.
none of my friends are like really. They're very like I have like a group of hippie friends that are kind of like that. You know that like hippie like dreaded
Do
girl.
you have a friend that drinks vanilla frappuccino?
I don't think any of my girlfriends are.
I
Like,
drink
extremely basic.
vanilla frappuccino.
Yeah, Rin's my most
All right, do you
basic
wear stretch
bitch
pants but don't actually go to
I
yoga?
have a lot of basic bro friends actually, like dudes from
so
the
you're a
frat that are like
tomboy.
basic bros that like.
Yeah, Brandy's a tomboy.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're like, yeah, you are like my sister. I was right about that. We're like, yeah, the first dick you saw was from a cow. Like, I get it. I get it. go to like a Planet Fitness and go check the girls that are just walking on the treadmill with the phone in front of them, and wait till they go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, into the change rooms, and go in there and start up a conversation about,
I
hey,
think
did you
I
see
know
Love
what
is
you're
Blind?
talking. Mhm.
And they will tell you this amazing story about that T-Rex looking bitch and whatever.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I think that a lot of girls that would be what you're describing are girls that wouldn't like me. Like that we
Yes,
wouldn't. They
that
don't
is
like
true.
me, so I would never really.
They wouldn't
get,
like any of us. Actually, maybe Rin. Got those dreamy
Yeah.
eyes.
Like I just don't have any. I don't.
I try to be likable.
Yeah.
All my
Like, I
all
could
my
be likable,
girlfriends
but
are
I'm
not
too old
like
for that
that.
shit.
So like when people act like this is what all women are like, I'm looking at my friends
I
and
didn't say all
girls,
women.
and I'm like,
I said most
they're
women.
not like that. But maybe
It's
I just
the middle
have
of the bell curve. You're at the outside of the bell curve. Like, where's this middle of the bell curve you speak of? What is the bell curve?
Yeah,
There's just a
she's
single
staring
point
at the bell
and I'm
curve
on it.
saying,
Yeah.
She's staring at the bell curve saying, I'm 5'8".
Look,
Yeah.
I'm fully aware of the existence of guys like Walter who don't know how to put on a condom and
Mhm.
autistically fall for psyops about putting birth control and abortion pills into chicks. I know he exists, even though I'm not that guy.
Well,
And
no, it's
I'd
not
like to
that I
think
don't know
you
that
can
they
come there with me.
exist. It's not that I don't know that they exist, but you're acting like it's the majority. I guess that's where I'm like, what's the majority here?
The majority of people are average intelligence or worse.
I thought.
Yeah, but
well,
average
50%.
average intelligence isn't bad though. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like most people are just trying to fucking show up and do whatever.
I'm not
they think.
saying they're bad. Like, yeah, it's not a value judgment if they're bad people. When I say basic bitch, I mean no disrespect.
Right.
I'm just
There's
saying they're the ones that are tuning in, the 70 million people watching Love is Blind, because the fat alcoholic chick is fucking up her marriage that she just had 10 minutes ago.
Has anyone seen Love on the Spectrum? Because that show's really
heard
cute.
about it.
It's so cute.
No.
The autistic
And I've heard about
people.
the Down syndrome one too.
Yes.
Downies or whatever.
They're very
Downey
cute.
Abbey.
Like that's a white pill right there though, because if those people can find love, you can. All right, everybody, like you guys all be crying, but there's like autistic people, like severely autistic people getting into relationships. You just got to actually start dating people that are
Was
also
that the
autistic.
one where the one guy went to the strip club and he was convinced that they saw like a trans one? He thought, no, that's a girl, man. It's definitely a girl. And everybody's trying to convince, like, show him that it wasn't. Even the stripper was trying to say it. And he's like, no. Or was that the Down syndrome dating one?
I don't know, actually.
Right,
I don't
yeah.
think I don't know if I've seen that one. The one I saw, it's like a reality show with like autistic people where they like put them together and make them go on dates. There is like one autistic bitch though that definitely has that problem where she has too high of standards.
Oh,
Like so that does happen. And I was like, I yell at the screen the whole time.
I
I'm like,
deserve
what the fuck,
a
bitch?
10.
Yes.
I guess it's not Tourette's. It's autism.
No.
But whatever. I don't know how to do autism.
She's like, I want someone that works in animation. And it's like these like really like particular details. And she's like, I will not deviate from this. This is what I want. Man who works in animation. And it's like, dude, come on. Come
I
on.
should put her on the whatever podcast. It's like when she has one of them, you know, when the autistic guy, like you move the thing the wrong way and she freaks out. It's like, no, it goes there. And then have that would be good TV.
Yes. They should
Starts
have an
throwing the sex
autistic
doll around the room. Get out of here. Pocket pussy faces east. God damn it.
They should definitely have an autistic special for the whatever podcast. I'd be
Yeah,
on
then you
it.
can have a female and male autist arguing about statistics with each other. It'd be balance. Balance in the world and all is well.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on. It was a fun conversation, per usual. So first I'll start with you, Kyle. What you got going on?
As usual, 5 till midnight, Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. In Liberty and Health, normally 2 podcasts a week. And then I try to be here as much as I can because unfortunately my band had started to they want to practice on Thursdays, but that's kind of up in the air. So hopefully I'll be on here as often as possible. And yeah, my band, A Common Crown, you can find us everywhere. We got a couple of new songs in the work, and I'm really stoked to hopefully get them recorded and get them out there. But we'll be opening for Hinder in June, and I think we have a show in May. So if you're in the southwestern Pennsylvania area, hit me up, and I'd love to see you out there.
And Ryan, where can people find you?
Dude, I don't even care about the red pill stuff anymore. Yeah, I got the channel
Are you
there.
retiring?
It's sorta. I'm still doing stuff, but whatever. Honestly, it's the books. Amazon. There's Dread. There's Fuck Files, and there's Frame. It's a 3-part series. I'm coming out with some new ones here at the end of the year, I think, and I want to start dabbling into fiction. I also have, if you guys look it up, Tekken for Pennies. It's probably my greatest video work ever. It's on my second channel.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's a piece of work. I'll put it in private chat. You can watch it later, but it's a piece of art.
Love it.
Just about video game stuff. And then beyond that, it's you know where to find me. I don't care.
What kind of fiction you trying to do?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Like I've never done fiction before, so I'm learning as I go. And right now, the first part is to write down every premise you can think of, every character you can think of, and then you mind map them all together and see if you can flesh out the story details, the plot details. There's like a whole process to it.
Do you have a genre?
Genre? I like how Fight Club had, it was like a contemporary society vibe to it. So I might go that route. But if I might find it works better if I make it like a period piece or sci-fi, depending on what premise I go with. I want to pick something that's interesting. My spiritual inspiration is Delicious Tacos and Now for Some Good News. If you guys haven't read that, it's his greatest book. I love it.
Wait, who is that by?
What's that? Delicious Tacos is the guy's name. And
oh, that's his name.
News. I got a signed copy of it. It's awesome.
It's cool.
It's about a guy who in the apocalypse who gets laid and kills Ellen's dog.
The fuck?
It's good.
So is it like absurdist type of?
It's less absurdist than you think. Yeah, it's more.
But it has like themes to it. It's hard to explain. Just once you read it, you just realize I'm enjoying this. Colleen Hoover ain't got shit on him. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying this having read Verity and Delicious Tacos.
Are you you said that you had is there like a guideline that you're using to like write fiction? You said that you had like
do it competently.
No, but you said like you have to like mind
shots
characters
fired. Oh no, I'm not even shots fired. No, yeah, well it's so what I usually do, same thing when I was writing nonfiction. I don't know how to write a book. And so I would just look at smart people. How did you guys write books? And I learned what they did, and then I would apply it as best I could. And then I would hire like a good editor. Same thing with this. So the idea is, with a story, you need to nail down a premise with a single line. You know, like I can't think of a movie right now, but just pick something. Like tell me Star Wars, a story of a guy who wants to have adventure in life, does the hero's journey. It's in space. You know, fights his father, stops the Death Star. If you can narrow it down into a single sentence, that's a good start. And then from there, you think of what kind of themes you want to expose on this. So, for example, Star Wars, the relationship between father and son, the idea of good versus evil. And then that goes through it all. You build your characters. Then you take your character and your theme, and you build sub-characters around them. So ideally, the character and his opponent, or the antagonist, would be the opposite. They're both trying to achieve the same goals, but doing it opposite ways. Castor and Troy and John Travolta and Face Off, for example. The ally as enemy character is one that looks like he's trying to help him, but actually is not so helpful. The enemy is ally. And then you kind of look at all these guys and how would they fit into these themes as different variations on it. And then once you kind of do this, you'll find out if a premise works or doesn't work, or a character works or doesn't work. And then ideally, and I've only started the process, but ideally once you get to the end of it, you should end up having a story structure in place. And then you have to start from the end. Like, what's the revelation the character learns about himself as a character art? Then you work backwards. So that way you can have like a plausible chain of events that get there. And then you break it all down into scenes and chapters. So it's like a whole process. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
And I know it's boring as shit.
I actually, because I've always wanted to write a fiction book. I've had like multiple plots kind of written down, but I've just wanted to know what your like process was, because it's like getting the whole thing together. That's where I
Yeah,
struggle.
and that was the one. It's the one thing that's different. Like I always do outline writing. Like Fuck Files was discovery writing. Like I already knew the characters. The character was me, and so I just kind of discover, and then the plot came through as I wrote it. The two praxeology books were outline writing, where you outline what you want the book to go with first. Fiction writing is more like a planned version of outline writing. So the actual writing the book is the final part. Everything else is the planning. That should be like 90% of the work, is getting it together so that way everything makes sense. All the plot points are caught up. You got your Chekhov's gun where you need it. You've got like the characters are making the good points. The themes are there. Like dialogue is supposed to help when you don't always need dialogue. Sometimes it has to be through character action. Sometimes you got to, do you want to use a forest or do you want to use an island? Like there's thematic reasons why you'd want to pick a different setting or a different genre. And yeah.
Someone said, but he makes it sound so fun.
I wrote a fiction book when I was like 20, and I was like, I didn't do any of this, but I wrote like 300 pages, and I was a fucking bro. My main character was like playing ping pong against the devil for his soul, and it was Lucifer takes over the throne of God. It was all big things, but I was just trying to get to a scene at the end where Sean Connery as God is battling the Titans, and heaven is at war with demons, and then Lucifer brings heaven to earth so that the Marines can shoot the demons with machine guns.
You know what I love about it too? Because that sounds so ridiculous, but if it was written well, it
right,
would make total sense. And
yeah,
that's the part that I enjoy about this. I've never read fiction really, other than like Choose Your Own Adventures and Hardy Boys. So for me, this is like a whole new process, and I'm loving it.
I will happily read your fiction book. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it as well. Yeah,
and I'm making it a short read. I'm not doing this stupid like 800 page. I'm not writing Dune. Fuck that.
Dune's so good though.
It's a little dry.
I've read it twice, but it's a bit dry and a bit long. And none of this 50 pages of the Hobbit's birthday party shit either. No, I'm not going to try and be Tolkien.
High octane is what you're saying. Okay, looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll make
Rin,
like Crank the novel.
Rin, you got anything for us?
Yeah, probably one day it'll.
It's fine.
One day.
I'm
going to read your book about the Devil's ping pong tournament.
Yeah, you should.
That actually does sound pretty awesome.
I'll give you a sales pitch. It was a great idea, but I'm a terrible writer, it turns out. So.
Turn it into a PDF and then sell it on the internet as an ebook.
Gumroad.
Ooh, okay.
Now that they're getting rid of all the ass and bio accounts, you can be in there like.
I'm trying to like find access to like a long form AI, because I'm pretty sure I could just run those 300 pages through an AI and a better book will come out.
Outsource it to the AI.
I never even thought about like would AI be helpful in that. I never even considered it.
The first sci-fi book to win an award was written by an AI.
What?
You mean Theft of Fire didn't get there? Son of a bitch. I'm reading that one now. I actually kind of like it. The girl's trying to steal the original spaceship from Elon's little company. And she stole some minor ship with an AI girl on there. It's actually pretty clever.
Oh, fantastic.
The guy's fairly red-pilled, too. He writes women. Like, he writes those... You know those women you'd have no idea how they exist or what they do, Brandy? Like, he writes those women. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll learn something.
Well done. Well played.
Nice.
All right. Bye, everybody. I will be live again in like an hour to play video games, and I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Nice.
Yeah. So come hang out, and bye.